You're watching the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Now it's time for the Brent and Austen Show.
Hey, welcome into Strings Sports Brewery here in Springfield as, we get to open the place on a beautiful day and Friday, Easter weekend. Should be a heck of a weekend as we turn the calendar to April, and I'll take one of all. How about that?
Yeah, let's go, man. It's Friday.
That's a good starting line.
Already got to put in the parking lot. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all 13 of them. I'll be the Cinderella story here on a Friday. Brent Martineau, Austen Lane. We are live at Strings Sports Brewery. I think we're going to get out of that Action Sports Jax 24/7 network studio a bunch over the next few months, and we'll be here for some of it as well. Brent Martineau, Austen Lane, Jason Hamby, and hey, you got to love a Friday when you can kick off things with some brand new news out of the gate.
Make it pretty easy on us. Appreciate you, Jaguars.
Thank you very much. Where were you the last few days? The Jaguars extending Foye Oluokun right out of the gates. This is interesting move on many respects, I think, because it's obviously a money move to create more space, but it's also, hey, we're committed to Foye Oluokun move, which we weren't completely sure of how long that commitment would be, especially with the investment at linebacker with Devin Lloyd, Chad Muma, Ventrell Miller in the draft. So I think there's a lot of prongs here, but this guy's been a heck of a football player for the Jacksonville Jaguars over the last couple of years. Yeah,
I mean, in terms of consistency, he's probably been one of the most consistent things that the Jaguars have right now. And, obviously Ryan Nielsen coming in and having a vision of what he wants to do with this defense. Does Ryan Nielsen have any ties to Foye Oluokun?
I don't think so. He was in Atlanta. Obviously, Foye was in Atlanta, but they didn't go crossover at the same time.
Okay, but obviously Ryan Nielsen likes what Foye Oluokun has done, and I'm sure Doug has felt the same way, so they feel the need to extend him. My question is how does this affect now the Jaguars' cap of how much money they have to spend?
Yeah, I mean, it will be interesting to see exactly what it actually impacts, right? Or does it impact anything? I don't know what it will impact, what the Jaguars have to spend. I mean, it's got to be able to clear up some space in the immediate, right? That's probably the biggest thing.
No, for sure. And my biggest thing, obviously, is you're hoping to see a Josh Allen deal get done sooner rather than later now, right? I mean, they're starting to extend some of the guys that they want to keep. I'm all for it. I'm sure Josh Allen's minding his time, but I just feel like the sooner you can get that Josh Allen deal done, the better. But it's going to be a lot of money. It's going to take some time, some negotiation. I just don't want to, I don't want to have that book report due, at a certain time and wait till the last second to turn it in. I'd rather get it done earlier rather than later.
Yeah, that's interesting. You seem like a procrastinator.
Oh, there we
instead
go.
of a prognosticator.
There we go.
So I'm surprised you want to get it done so early in this book report.
When it comes to Josh Allen and being the best player in the Jaguars, absolutely. Yeah, I want to get it done.
Yeah, that's maybe not a bad idea. Hey, Jason Hamby, say hello to us. You getting everything okay back there? Just wanted to make sure as we're leaf blowing outside, cleaning up the place right outside here in Springfield, but all good back there.
Yes, sir. We're all good. I just hit the wrong button on accident, but we are all good.
Yeah,
hey, that's about nothing. That's okay. That's easy. We just want to make and by the way, Hamby, we'll get to that bracket in a bit, but you and I got a showdown, man. This isn't just a baseball showdown. We got a showdown here on a weekend in late March.
It's going to be a good one in about when does that tomorrow? Will it be tomorrow?
That'll be tomorrow, yes. That's the way this works. They get a day off and then tomorrow.
What do you guys think? I actually stayed up to, much against my better judgment, watched the Illinois Iowa State game. Kind of fell asleep towards the end of the game, but caught the rest of it this morning. Some pretty dang good tournament games last night, all things considered.
Yeah, UNC-Alabama really was a heck of a game. And I had Iowa State, and so did Hamby, so we were disappointed in that. I think they scored on 8 or 9 possessions at one time. We'll break down some of those games and where our brackets are at. But that was disappointing because, in reality, Iowa State's the best defensive team in the country. So I was surprised to see that.
Yeah, and, I think what made yesterday's matchup so great was the fact that you had arguably the best defense in college basketball right now versus the best offense, maybe with Illinois. So the fact that you had that showdown and everything, and I think it was kind of the Terrence Shannon coming out party to a lot of people who weren't familiar with his game. That guy kind of had a breakout performance, man, attacking the rim and everything. So he was really fun to watch, and one would think, in terms of NBA draft boards, probably made some money for himself last night.
All right, let's go back to the Foye Oluokun front. We'll get to the NCAA tournament. We'll get to a little Major League Baseball opening day and everything else. But the news of the morning is Foye Oluokun signs a new 4-year, $45 million deal, according to Tom Pelissero. 22.5 guaranteed at signing. Oluokun had no guarantees, according to Pelissero, in his final year of his contract. Now he gets a 3-year extension locked in for the long haul. So some upfront money for him makes a lot of sense, too. Now, when you do that, again, that guaranteed money, Shad Khan writing the check, that helps clear the books right now. So what does that do to the Jags cap? We'll take a further look at that once we can digest it all. But I think that's what this is all about. You bring up Josh Allen. It's the same type of deal, Austin, right? Let's just say in the next couple weeks they were to come to a deal with Josh Allen. Well, they're going to clear a lot of space for this year by doing so, because they're probably going to write that bonus check that year one won't be on the books for $30 million, or right now the $24 million that actually is on the books. So with this and that, potentially, you got a chance to clear up a lot of space. Does that actually indicate to you that maybe the Jags are looking at a Brandon Ayuk a little bit more? A chance to maybe go sign a big-name receiver and bring him over right now. Now, you could argue they could do the same thing in that situation. They could give up trade capital. They could sign him to a long-term deal. It wouldn't necessarily have to go on the books right now. I mean, the Jags are moving a lot of money around. I guess the question is, why are they moving a lot of money around right now?
Yeah, I mean, it could be to try to shore up Josh Allen right now. It could be for a wide receiver. And I'm the last guy that wants to think farther ahead in the future. I think Trent Baalke and Doug Peterson don't want to do that either, because it's such a monumental year for them. But I also have in the back of my mind of, yes, Josh Allen needs to get paid, but next year Trevor Lawrence needs to get paid as well. And guess what? That'll probably be a big contract as well. So I really wonder, in terms of, once again, I always say that the salary cap's not even real, and a lot of times it feels like that it's not real, but how much they can afford to get away with now when you have Trevor Lawrence next year that's going to command the big deal, when you have a big deal with Josh Allen coming up soon as well.
How important to this defense is Foye Oluokun, in your opinion? How good has he been, and why do they want to keep him for the next, what it looks like at least the next 3 years, even though it's kind of got a 4-year deal attached to it? Let's just assume the next 2 or 3 years. Yeah. They see him as a part of the future.
So what you're seeing right now with this Jaguars defense is, obviously they bring in a guy in Darnell Savage. He's going to start. They bring in a guy in Ronald Darby. You expect him to start as well. So you're getting a lot of new pieces on the back end. Still have essentially the same stuff up front, set aside from an upgrade with Eric Armstead. So you have some new faces on a few different levels. You want to have some sort of consistency from what you had a couple years ago when you're implementing a new offense. Obviously, the linebacker making the calls, making the reads, that's Foye Oluokun's job. And I think, listen, you can say a lot of stuff about this Jaguars defense this last year, especially towards the end of the season, right? I mean, there were some games where just like, what are they doing? I didn't necessarily, especially the Tennessee game sticks out to me a lot. I didn't see a lot of pre-snap mistakes being made. And by that, I mean, guys not being where they're lined up properly, or guys not being set on the line of scrimmage, and that's Foye Oluokun's job. That's the middle linebacker's job, and I felt like he always had his guys ready to play from that standpoint. Now, physicality and all this stuff, that's a different story, but the pre-snap reads, I felt like that's where it needed to be, and once again, that echoes what Foye Oluokun brings to this team. So I think when you're implementing a new offense, a new defense, could take some time to learn. You want a signal caller back there who's basically you can depend on, and I think Oluokun's going to be that guy.
Well, listen, his numbers, I think later on this deal, we're getting high up there. I think 15 up to maybe even accounting against the cap, I think 21 million or something. So this obviously is a rework of that deal. And I agree with you. Foye has just been really good from a quarterbacking standpoint at that position, and that's what you want to do, is be able to quarterback this thing. This to me says, hey, the Jags obviously know they have a good football player. This guy's a Pro Bowl caliber football player, whether he makes them or not. He's helped lead the league in tackles for the better part of the last 3 years. And while that's a stat that isn't sexy, I thought what he really did this past year was increase his splash plays. I think he had a couple 2.5 sacks it was, and then also the pick six, and I think a fumble recovery. Those are the plays that were missing a little bit from the resume of Foye Oluokun. I thought he splashed a little bit more, but this has a feel of Ryan Nielsen saying, hey, this dude's perfect for what we need to do, and we're not going to change it out. 29 years old, still got a lot of good football in him at the linebacker position. We've got a lot of young guys around that still need to find their way. We know what we have here. We're not creating a hole.
Yeah, and now, I mean, I think a big question you have to ask yourself now is, what is the plan with Chad Muma? You know, how did they envision using him in this defense? Keep in mind, it'll be a lot of nickel. I mean, can you see Chad playing a strong side type?
I think so. How about you? I guess that's a better question for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. You know, once again, it's really hard to tell for me because I haven't, yes, he's played a little bit, but I haven't seen enough to make me a believer quite yet. So I think that's where training camp, preseason is going to be the telling story of if he can fill into that strong side or not. Obviously, then I think you have Devin Lloyd doing a little more maybe on the weak side, hopefully rushing the passer, blitzing, but we'll see what Ryan Nielsen envisions with that as well. But, yeah, I mean, I always kind of envisioned, could you fill in Chad Muma eventually, make him the true Mike, make him the signal caller? And I just feel like the Jaguars right now think, you know what, we have a great thing with Foye here. Let's just keep the consistency and let's keep him on the team.
He's been so good. 192 tackles, 184 tackles to lead the way. The first year that was in Atlanta, then in Jacksonville, 173 tackles last year, and I think he was third in the NFL, if I'm not mistaken, last year. 8 tackles for loss last year, 12 tackles for loss the year prior with the Jags. His previous high in Atlanta was 4. So he's had his career high in QB hits in Jacksonville, 9 and 10. And then again, fumble recoveries, 2 and 3 the last 2 years. 5 fumble recoveries. In his career in Atlanta, he had 1. And let's see what else I got for you. 1 interception. He did in Atlanta have 5 interceptions, by the way, in 2021 combined. So maybe he gets his hands on more footballs. But he has absolutely delivered as the moral of the story for the Jacksonville Jaguars. When you sign guys, you never know. The Jaguars, when they signed all those guys in 2022, they've actually delivered quite a bit for the Jags.
Brent, if you were to break down the salary, then do you know how much you'd be making a year?
I think it's on average, it's about $11.5 million a year.
Okay, gotcha. So I mean, and the inside linebacker, it's kind of crazy how it all kind of pans out. But if he's making 11 a year, he will then be officially the 5th highest paid inside linebacker in the NFL, which I think is, basically you're saying you're going to put him right above Josie Jewell and put him right below Patrick Queen, if that means anything to anybody, but that's where he's going to be sitting now in terms of how much he's making a year. Obviously, you have the high-paid guys, Roquan Smith, Fred Warner, Tremaine Edmonds, Patrick Queen, making a little more, but yeah, I think it's a fair deal. Wild how C.J. Mosley is kind of down that list as well, because we always talk about him being one of the best inside linebackers, but obviously he's kind of on the back nine of his career in terms of age.
Well, this whole Foye situation's interesting to me. I thought he potentially could be a move guy or a cap casualty guy going into this offseason. And the reason you say that is because I liken it to the Rayshon Jenkins deal. Rayshon Jenkins gives you a few good years. He still had another year left on his deal, but you also drafted to replace. You got Antonio Johnson, then they go into free agency, get Darnell Savage, who can play there. Looks like they're going to use him in the nickel. Well, they got rid of Rayshon. That wasn't a surprise. The reason why I thought the way this is supposed to work when you're going to get to the 15, 18, whatever millions of dollars that it was going to hit you for this year under Foye Oluokun is you did add Devin Lloyd. You did add Chad Muma. You actually drafted a middle linebacker in Ventrell Miller last year. So I was like, okay, well, isn't the way this is supposed to work? Muma, Ventrell Miller, they take that role now on a cheaper deal than Oluokun. I think one glaring thing, either Oluokun's just too damn good or those guys aren't good enough to trust in those spots. And so they're heavily invested in linebacker, but they're not really utilizing some of those guys they've drafted in the 3rd and 4th round.
Well, and I'm very curious to see, too, once again, something to keep an eye on the draft. We know what Devin Lloyd, and, we're still kind of unsure what Chad Muma can give us. I think we both feel the same way about Devin Lloyd, right? There's been some good, but then there's also been some, man, you traded up, and he hasn't lived up to that hype. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. So, if that's the case, then, we know how we feel about it, but how does Ryan Nielsen feel about it?
Yeah.
Do they even try to, draft somebody early on at the linebacking position? Do they feel that, Chad Muma can come in and contribute? Or do they go another direction? So, once again, this is going to be a new defense, new personalities in terms of evaluating the talent, and we'll see. I mean, this draft will say a lot about how the Jaguars exactly feel about their linebacking core right now.
Yeah, so big news. If you're just catching us now, we're live at Strings Sports Brewery. That's big news in itself. We get to open the place, which is absolutely great. We got a good view of a beautiful day in Springfield, and come on out and shoot some free throws against us. If you go 10 for 10, by the way, I'm sitting right next to a TV, and you put your name in the hat for the TV, and you'll come back and you'll get in a playoff bracket here at String Sports Brewery in Springfield.
It's a big TV, by the way.
Yeah, and you don't have to just do the 10 for 10 today during our show. You can do it all the way up until April 5th. So next Friday, and then April 6th will be the semifinal round in the Final Four. Well, then you'll be in the semifinals as well, and then compete for the TV on Monday night, the national championship game. But today, if you come between 12 and 1, not only can you try to go 10 for 10 on this 65-inch TV, you can also play against us, and we'll buy you a beer if you can beat us. Now, listen, former good basketball player, Larry Bird fan. You think I miss free throws? I mean, come on. I mean,
I'm going to have to practice a little bit here.
But the big news is Foye Oluokun for the Jacksonville Jaguars, linebacker, extended according to all the national reports, and now according to the Jacksonville Jaguars, they just issued a release and confirmed the extension. They will make this now a 4-year deal. It's a 3-year extension, but a 4-year deal for Foye Oluokun, which means in his 29th year-old year, he is going to be a Jacksonville Jaguar for the foreseeable future. The Jags have their middle linebacker. They have some staples now on defense. They actually have some staples, Austin, on all 3 levels, it appears, here in Jacksonville. And Ryan Nielsen obviously loves the way Foye Oluokun fits into his defense. The big question we're asking now is, who is that strong side guy? Devin Lloyd's going to be the weak side guy, we really think. Use that athleticism and maybe utilize him in a bunch of different roles as well, make him more versatile. The Jaguars were a little hesitant to do that last year under Mike Caldwell. They didn't blitz him much. They didn't bring him much. They did on occasion, but I think you could do that more. The question is that 30% of the time on first down, on those run situations against the run-heavy teams, who's going to play that strong side? You've got Ventrell Miller, but he's a middle. You got Chad Muma. He's more of a middle. I got to believe Muma, that's how you get him on the field. I think he can handle that strong side spot. In my opinion, he'd be the guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think because you got to keep in mind, if you're in that base package, once again, it's an NFL passing league now, right? So it's not going to be that much in terms of percentage-wise. But if you're in that base package, you're not going to ask your strong side linebacker to do a lot in terms of, dropping back into coverage and giving them all these crazy reads. I mean, you're out there to stop the run, and if you got to take a guy in the flat or something like that, or take a running back man, maybe you do that, but they're not going to ask too much of him. To me, it's more, especially in this Ryan Nielsen defense, it's got to be a guy that's going to bring the hit stick. Right? It's got to be a guy that's going to bring the physicality, bring the attitude a little bit. And once again, can Chad Muma do that? Absolutely. I truly think he can. But I'm going to need to see more of it in training camp and in the preseason.
Well, this will help you out. John Shipley, whether he's listening or watching the tweets and asking about the Sam linebacker spot, he's dug up some numbers. John covers the Jags. He says the Falcons ran a 4-3, traditional 4-3, on 56 snaps last year. That was it.
Yeah, there you go.
So, the concern level over 56 snaps, you can throw me out there for 56 snaps in a season and see how it goes. But, John's referring to it's really more of a 4-2-5 kind of defense. And actually Doug referred to this a little bit the other day. He said, hey, big nickel, smaller nickel,
and Savage kind of led that on a little bit too in terms of he's probably going to be lined up all over the place. Once again, that could be a little bit of a question mark though in terms of Darnell Savage of can he bring the physicality? Can he bring the tackling ability? Because what I envision and what I think is going to happen is they're going to kind of move him all around and have him on the line of scrimmage, have him playing center field, kind of be the jack of all trades, if you will. And can he hold up to the physicality? And, can you stop Jonathan Taylor? Will you be able to stop? Now it's going to be Joe Mixon.
Yeah, now it's Joe Mixon in Houston. You're right. One other in Pollard in Tennessee, right? Pollard in Tennessee. So the the other part of that is last year at least, and I don't know if this is a new thing. Do you think this is a new thing around the NFL, or was this just close to home with Caldwell? They went to that 3 safety look quite a bit. So there you go. You bring in that, like, I would say maybe a heavier nickel kind of package, right?
Yeah.
And Dewey Wingard and those guys get on the field a little bit more. When people got hurt, you would even put a Daniel Thomas on the field. But we saw that 3 safety look second half of 2022 and into 23. Are we seeing that more across the NFL in general, or is that just more of a Caldwell scheme?
No, I mean,
threw in there as a wrinkle?
I think you're seeing it more in general, depending what you have in terms of your roster construction. But like, I think of the Baltimore Ravens, and you have a guy like Kyle Hamilton, who, I think we were both big fans of when he came out in the draft. I mean, you couldn't make it work. Just wasn't going to come to Jacksonville, but like, we're both fans of him, and you look at him and his physical prowess, Brent. Like, the guy essentially built like a rush edge.
Yeah.
But he's playing safety. So anytime you have a guy that's built like that can do a lot of things, well then, yeah, you throw him wherever, keep offenses guessing, and let them fly around and run around. And I think a lot of success of the Ravens defense has been because of Kyle Hamilton kind of doing whatever he wants to do. Sometimes it seems like in the backfield, but not every team has a Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah.
I think Darnell Savage could fill that role, or at least they're going to try to make him fill that role of the Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah, and by the way, you're right. Not every team has a Kyle Hamilton. That's a special player, a dynamic player. In the chat, cap space for Allen is mentioned, and like the move, keeping on field and locker room consistency. Seems like we're moving money around for some more good news to come in the future, and that's really what I was getting at. It does feel that way. When you make these kind of moves, you're opening it up. Now, there's a part of you that can just give flexibility on the cap space, depending on how they maybe think it's going with a guy like Josh Allen, because again, $24 million right now tied up with that franchise tag with Josh Allen. Now, it frees up some of that, or maybe even all of that, when you reach an extension with him. But it also handicaps you right now to be able to make any sudden moves that you want to make, and this move allows you some more flexibility. Is that a right now type of flexibility, or is it for down the road? And what I always say is they might want the kind of flexibility for down the road, even around October or now early November when a trade deadline rolls around, to be able to bring on a hefty contract.
Let me ask you this, Brent. I think we're both on the same page here when we say that if Josh Allen gets signed, that's going to free up some stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Correct. So if they can sign him before the draft, would that be telling in terms of, well, maybe then they're trying to make a move? Maybe, I don't know, do I dare say it again, but the T. Higgins rumor, whatever the case may be. But, like, is a draft kind of a good litmus test to see what the Jaguars want to do if they actually sign Josh Allen before the draft?
Yeah, I think that's not a I think all chips are on the table then, right? I mean, they definitely are not stuck in a certain way. And right now they've positioned themselves to not really be stuck. I mean, with their moves in free agency, they have us guessing and debating each and every day. What are they going to do? Get wide receiver, quarterback, pass rusher, depth? Are they going to trade up for a big-time wide receiver? Is there more flexibility now with the dollars available to do that with an Ayuk or a Higgins? Is there noise building there? Or is it just in the draft where you might bring up some of this draft capital or trade it up and move up 8-9 spots and whatever that could cost you? And obviously that would be a cheaper deal if you were able to do that. So, but you can even add to this, Austin, if you're picking at 17 and you're getting a guy versus going up and getting a guy at number 7, well, that number 7 guy is way more costly than the guy at 17.
Sure.
Even in year one, right?
Yeah,
So just all those things. I think they are putting themselves in a position where they're not stuck in a corner. I do like what you're saying a little bit about Josh Allen. If they are able to get that done, now that really opens things up. And I think I could make the case now, and you'd have to really be a cap guru or how they want to do it. But I think you could also make the case of trying to get Trevor Lawrence done. In that regards, if they're freeing up all this and where they could place the money now versus down the road. Because it's a shell game.
It is.
Over the next, not just this year, to do what you want to do, and it certainly looks like they're almost all in here to try to win this year, but also for the next 2, 3, 4 years after that, especially when you get to the hefty deals of the Josh Allen that start knocking you on the books, and also Trevor Lawrence, which will eventually get you on the books for. So there's a lot going on, I think, with the cap space, and they know a heck of a lot more. We're just guessing here on the outside. Let's take a break. Brent and Austen show here live from Strings Sports Brewery in Springfield, and they'll open the doors up. Well, they already did. We opened the place up, but it'll be at 11 o'clock in the morning and go all night. We've got NCAA tournament games tonight, and we've got a free throw shooting contest. we'll buy you a beer if you can beat us between noon and 1. But if you can hit 10 in a row, you get in the mix for a big TV sitting right next to us. Oh, Alabama and Clemson. That's going to be a good one. In the college football national championship.
Right?
Oh, wait a minute. In the Elite Eight instead.
Yeah, wild.
Hamby, Martineau, Clemson, Alabama. It's a big one in the bracket contest. We'll be right back on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. I like to say everybody has a story, and sometimes we're a part of other people's stories. That's the case here at Nimnicht Buick GMC. My family and the Nimnicht family. We've purchased 6 different vehicles from Nimnicht Buick GMC. Maybe you're in the market for a truck. Well, let me tell you about the GMC Sierra. I absolutely love mine. I've had a couple of these. This one's a 2020, but right now on 2024 GMC Sierras here at Nimnicht Buick GMC, there's special financing. A year ago, we purchased a GMC Terrain for the kids. Financing rates as low as 0.9% for eligible buyers on Terrains and no payments for 90 days. Looking for used instead of new? Buy a used car with the Car Bravo program. Nimnicht Buick GMC certifies all makes and models. Let the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville take care of you and your family. Come on out and see the showroom, meet the fantastic people, or shop online at nimnichtbuickgmc.com. Nimnicht, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
What started out as better people, better projects just keeps getting, well, better. That's Better Exterior Solutions, ready to help you create a better outdoor experience. Check this out. Motorized pergolas are the latest in technology to transform your outdoor space. Beautiful day? Let the sun shine through. Summer rainstorm? These pergola systems close automatically to keep the weather out. From residential to commercial uses, Better Exterior Solutions has products customized to meet virtually any existing architectural structure. With retractable awnings, screens, and hurricane shutters too, if you want unparalleled quality and expertise, you need Better Exterior Solutions. Get a free estimate by visiting betterexteriors.com. Better Exterior Solutions. Experience better.
It's a new logo, new branding, but with Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. And with that comes the perks we miss in the big business world. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who's coming to your house. You know they will be well trained. And they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at boldcityac.com. The folks at Bold City Heating and Air also know your AC unit is important and can be a big expense. That's why they have financing to help. No payments, no interest for 12 months on new systems. $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at boldcityac.com. Homegrown in your hometown. Bold City Heating and Air.
Thank you for making Action News Jacks the best in Jacks and Folio's Best of Jacks 2023. Best TV station, Best TV newscast, Best TV morning show. Chandler Morgan voted Best TV anchor. The Chief, Mike Burrish, voted Best meteorologist. And Brent Martineau voted Best TV sports anchor. And while you're on the go, Best news website and Best local blog, The Burrish Blog. Thank you for making Action News Jacks local coverage you can count on.
Stop by the new car sales event happening right now at Greenway Kia at the Avenues. $500 in a job gets you in a Kia. And Michael Montiero and the staff here at Greenway Kia are here to make it happen. Experience great customer service and become a part of their family. And while you're here, check out the Kia Forte GT line, full of comfort, innovation, and has driver assist technology. And how about the affordable new Kia EV9, the fast-charging, all-new electrical SUV with high-performance capability, 3-row seats with 304 miles of maximum driving range. Over 1,000 new Kia models, some starting at $199 a month. And as always, get the 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. Come shop at Greenway Kia at the Avenues. Avenues, located on Phillips Highway. You can shop online at greenwaykiaattheavenues.com. And remember, $500 and a job gets you in a Kia at Greenway Kia at the Avenues.
When you think sports, you think Action Sports Jacks, the official station of the Jaguars, on location for every game. But the most experienced team in town doesn't stop there. From high school football to the big events in the area, Action Sports Jacks is always on. Now, we take that to a new level. Action Sports Jacks 24/7 is around-the-clock coverage of the teams you love and the moments you can't miss. The best local sports in Jacksonville on Action Sports Jacks 24/7.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
Hey, welcome back to Strings Sports Brewery, and hey, they've got inside, outside area. Look at that big game of Jenga you can play. You want to go do that?
Let's go.
It's like a playground here. A playground for adults. We got basketball. We just have some new machines down there, actually, where you order food, I found out. When the TV crew comes here for Jaguars All Access, they love to play Golden Tee in the corner.
Of course.
So we've got that. And how about the old Heritage Field scoreboard there? At Strings Sports Brewery in Springfield. A new location, by the way, coming in Jack's Beach soon in the fall. So we are hanging out at Strings Sports Brewery. We'll do that probably a couple times a month here on the show, on the Brent and Austen Show, the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. The underrated part of this place, the beer is very good, right? The atmosphere is good. You can watch NCAA tournament games tonight. You can watch all the games, whatever time of year here. It's a great lunch spot for everybody who works in the Jacksonville area. Come on over, slide over for lunch, because the food is tremendous. I think that's the secret of this place. I mean, everything's good, but the food is so good, because we eat here like every Thursday night when we do Jaguars All Access.
Sure.
You don't want to not eat here. I've had the fish. I've had the brisket. I've had just about everything, because they change it up, too. I mean, it's a full menu. You know, a lot of times you go to a brewery and it's like it's a very limited menu.
Hey, you get some French fries and some tater tots, and that's about it.
Well, I've been to one in, like, Augusta, too, and they did, like, it's almost like a grilled cheese sandwich. You know, it's kind of like a grilled cheese mix. Yeah. You know, they have the grilled cheese places now, right?
Of course, man. So I've been to those.
It's almost like something like that kind of menu.
Okay.
Like a very like grab and go kind of menu. This is more restaurant style. They cater. Cool. Big events come in. That outside area we just showed you, great for parties and birthdays and corporate events. And so if you haven't been to String Sports Brewery yet, well, you should get here. And on a Friday, it's a good way to get it going early.
I'm just noticing their logo, too, with a basketball hoop made of hops. So I can definitely appreciate that as well. So that's really cool.
Well, we'll probably show you some video later, because I just took some near where you order. One of the things I like that they do, I thought was pretty smart, is you know how you have like table numbers?
Yes.
For your food, and you put it there so the waiter or waitress knows where to deliver it to. Maybe it's number 13. Well, they put all the different sports teams instead. So you'll have like the Jumbo Shrimp, who obviously opened tonight.
Okay, all the Jacksonville sports teams. Okay, because if I got like the Tennessee Titans, I'm just going to leave. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll take the parking lot. Okay, good. Okay, good.
Not that.
Just making sure we get all Jacksonville sports teams. Fantastic, Brent.
Hey, the big news today is Foye Oluokun signed to an extension for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think a lot of people are wondering, okay, now what's next? And I think we can just sit here and guess what's next for the Jaguars. If you missed any of the earlier conversation, a lot of it was about what does this open the door for the Jaguars to do and moving money around. But I also don't think you can miss the significance of they're not just moving money around, extending a player just to create dollars. They obviously like Foye Oluokun a lot, and I didn't hesitate to think that they did like Foye Oluokun a lot. But I also didn't know if they liked him to the point of how much they were going to have to pay him and what the future was, considering how much they had already drafted and everything else. But this is an indicator that he's the guy. And is it an indicator, much like the Luke Fortner upgrade with Mitch Morse, that, hey, maybe we didn't get it right with the linebacker investment. I think that's one of the criticisms of Trent Baalke in these last couple of years is their overinvestment in linebacker and not being able to, in my opinion, know, is Devin Lloyd good after 2 years? I'm not sure. I haven't given up on him, but I don't really know. Yeah. Chad Muma, when we talk about it, what can you say? We've seen him on a very limited basis. And Ventrell Miller, obviously, as a fourth-round guy, it changes it a little bit, but more of a special teams guy coming in at least early in his career, most likely. But he tore his ACL, so we didn't even get to see him at all last year. I mean, they've really, outside of Foye, kind of whiffed on the linebacker spot where they've really invested.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a big reason I think why Foye gets re-signed. They have a lot better idea of what Chad Muma can bring to the table than we do, right? Because they see him at every single practice and things like that. So I think with Chad Muma, all right, man, go ahead and play whatever your 4 or 5%, snaps at the strong side. I'm sure he'll probably be the backup done to Foye if knock on wood if something unfortunate should happen to him. But you have to bring the consistent things. And, yeah, maybe it is Trent Baalke saying, you know what, I kind of messed up a little bit the linebacking position, but it's also, I think, a testament to Foye Oluokun in terms of, once again, and I've said this word I think 25 times in the show so far, but in terms of consistency.
Yeah, he really is. And you talk about consistency. I'll tell you availability. I mean, he's been around every game for the last 3 years. I think it's 17, 17, 17. So he's a very durable player, and he's a smart player, and he adds to a locker room that right now I think they have a nice mix of guys that have really been through it here in Jacksonville now. That's the other part of this. When you think about Josh Allen, Roy Robertson Harris will be in his third year here. Devon Hamilton's been around. So you think about those up front guys. Now you think about Foye, who's been a staple at the linebacking spot. This will be his third year. Devin Lloyd will be among the same. Muma even among the same. Andre Sisco's been around. Tyson Campbell's been around. On the offensive side of the ball, we know most of those guys have been around since 2021 and at the latest 2022. There's a lot of, I know this isn't, hey, we're running it back like last year, but there's still a lot of the core of the team of the last couple of years that still exist on this roster. You just got to hope they found the right ones to stay and didn't let the wrong ones go.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you can't turn everything over, right? Like, that's not how it works. So you're always going to have guys from, the previous year. But once again, like you talk about Robertson Harris and Devon Hamilton, one of those guys, one would assume with Eric Armstead now, would probably take a reduced role a little bit. Right, and once again, we'll see how this draft shakes out in terms of do they address the edge a little more, and could that affect a guy? I mean, I know Robinson really played inside a lot, but can that affect him even in the pass rush game? So it'll definitely be affected. They did upgrade at some certain spots. But yeah, you still have a nucleus of guys who have been here before, who know, what it was and maybe how bad it was and now what the new change is going to look like.
Is there any elevation, do you think, in a guy like Foye's game? And like as you project out, like if you're sitting there and you're in the scouting department, I know they see more than we see and everything else, but where are you thinking right now your linebacking group is? If you just want to even go Foye Oluokun and Devin Lloyd, you mentioned consistency and availability is one I mentioned. Is there more ceiling to get? Is he kind of plateaued? Is he who he is right now as a football player at 29 years old? And gosh, you got to hope that Devin Lloyd has his best football in front of him, don't you?
Yeah. So you're talking about, do we know what Foye Oluokun is? Like, is there room to grow?
Yeah, I'm wondering how much more of a the guys at 29 into 30 years old to even take another step in their career, or are you who you are? And by the way, that would be fine if he gives you what you've been getting. Like, I think that's fine.
See, I think it comes into a couple of things when we talk about the Mike position. I mean, do I see him being a Fred Warner? Well, probably not, because they asked Fred Warner to do a lot more in terms of they kind of let him do whatever he wants as well, right? Like, that's not Foye Oluokun's MO. So, I mean, I think what we've seen from Foye is what we're going to get. Like, I don't see them, tailoring a game now where it's like, all right, boy, every single play you can blitz, you can go here. Like, that's just not going to be his style. It's going to be more of, getting guys lined up properly, using his smarts and being in the right time at the right spot. So I think what you get with Foye Oluokun, yes. Man, I think in terms of what we've seen now with Lloyd, it could be completely different, right? Is Nielsen going to turn him loose a little more? Is Nielsen going to, blitz him a little more? Because that's what, keep in mind, this guy rushed the passer a little bit in college, so he has
a lot of it.
Yeah, a lot of it. So he has that makeup in him, and for whatever reason, Caldwell didn't really buy into that. And once again, it is what it is. But you gotta feel like watching him in college, watching what all the experts were saying about him coming to the Jaguars, is that Nielsen sees a guy where it's like, all right, let's turn this guy loose now. Let's blitz him. Let's let him rush the passer a little more, and let's really see what he has. Because to me, you're doing your player a disservice if you're taking away a part of his game that he seems to excel at least at the collegiate level. We don't know at the pro level because we haven't really seen a lot at the pro level.
Yeah, you know what struck me? Let me take you back to last April. So it would have been about a year ago, where we sat down with Devin Lloyd at Jags headquarters, and this was prepping for the NFL draft and our coverage. And so we sat down with him, and a lot of it was, hey, the draft experience and things like that. Well, ended up talking to him a little bit about his role in the defense. And we asked him like that very question about, do you think you'll be utilized a little different, right? Do you think you'll have a chance to maybe impact the plays a little more up at the line of scrimmage, blitz a little bit more? And he indicated at that time, yeah, I think like I will. Now, I don't want to overplay this and over-dramatize it like it was like, yes, I'm going to do this. It was more just like you could see it on his face, in the words that he said. Like, yeah, I think I'm going to be used in that position a little bit more coming out of last year. And remember, the rookie year was kind of, his head was buzzing now. Like, he was not in a great place.
Yeah.
So this conversation also was a little bit about that. Like, I'm in a better place. I feel like I'm going to be utilized. Things have slowed down, all those things. He was disappointed in his play as a rookie in the NFL.
Injured too,
and he was injured on and off. That's right. And he started fast, and then got benched, and then came back. But the bottom line is his role. It seemed like they were going to use him in some different places they hadn't used him in year one. Well, what was interesting about that is the next time, like Mike Caldwell got on a mic, and then even in camp when he got on a mic, he was like, no, he's going to be in his linebacker spot. Like, he's playing linebacker. We're not going to really use him in this way, that way. And I was like, whoa, that's kind of weird. Like, I felt like I got kind of a hint, or we got a hint that they were going to try to mix him up, use some of those college skill sets. And then Caldwell basically said no. And I think, well, that's why they use him. I wonder if from Doug to Nielsen to everybody else on the outside, there's a little more trial and error with that, or at least a little more moving around to benefit his skill set and familiarity of what he did at the college level.
Yeah, you know how I feel about this, Brent, right? Like, you bring in guys for a reason based off of what you see on film. And sometimes I can't stand guys that will, or coaches, coordinators, that will implement their ego and say, yeah, I see the college film and what he excels at, but like, I think I can do this with him because like I'm that great of a coach. And then sometimes it doesn't work out. A la Taven Bryan, a la Kayvon Chason, a la Josh Allen, a la Dante Fowler. Like, the list goes on and on in terms of guys that you saw in college and you said, okay, well, let's go ahead and try to tinker him around a little bit and tailor him around a little bit. I know Trayvon Walker could be that guy, the bump inside. We'll see with that. We'll see what Ryan Nielsen, has up his sleeves here. But I just hope from Ryan Nielsen's sake, if you get an edge rusher early in the draft, if you get a corner, it's not saying, all right, this guy's a great athlete, this guy has long arms, this guy is whatever, I can make him into whatever I want him to make. It's no, this guy does great at the college level of what he does. Let's take that now and implement that in my defense with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Demetrius Harvey put something out here just a moment ago. It's pretty interesting. Jags 2022 class projected starter backup this year. Trayvon Walker, Devin Lloyd. Starters Luke Fortner, Chad Muma backup. So, and if you keep going, you get to Snoop Connor, who's not even there. Gregory Jr. backup. Monteric Brown backup. And by the way, I think the Gregory Jr. and Monteric Brown, if those guys are depth players in your secondary, like that's okay. Where they were drafted, like if you can count on them to come in, like I thought Buster Brown did some good things last year. Yeah. I feel like they like the development of those guys. Now, we'll see. They'll probably bring in even more competition, but, like, that's okay. I think the Fortner one is probably the most bothersome one. And the Muma one, you talk about luxury picks, felt like an odd pick and a luxury pick because they had just traded up to get Lloyd in that draft. They had brought Foye over, all those things. It really didn't make a lot of sense.
And that was a third-round pick.
That was a third-round pick.
Yeah.
And then where you're using it doesn't make a lot of sense. It's very – there's a couple of these when people criticize organizations for best player available or, well, you really had need, you didn't really take best player available, I think we could criticize the Jags a little bit for taking best player available. on a couple of things.
Sure.
This is one. Walker Little might be another one where they haven't used him very much, and they used a second-round pick, 45 overall, and they really have not got a lot of... Now, listen, when he's played, he's been very good for them, and it's good that they've had him, but he's not like plug and play in the lineup for the next 4 years, and Muma's another one of those. But I do think that's a little bit of an indication they went to go get best player available on their board rather than step around that for need. And we ask them to do BPA a lot, and the Jags may have welcomed some criticism by doing it.
Yeah, without a doubt. Because a third-round pick, like, listen, they can contribute. A lot of them can start, but they should at least be like special team studs then if you get a linebacker in the third round. And like, yeah, I'm sure Muma has played special teams.
Yeah, he's been fine there.
And he's been fine, but has been a stud?
Yeah, I don't know what that looks like.
I don't. Oh, here's the thing. Do you hear his name called all the time on special teams?
No, I don't think he's like a Pro Bowl special teamer in the wake, right?
So, yeah, I think whether it was a result of taking best player available, whether it was a result of, hey, we think we can turn this guy into a true Mike linebacker and maybe one day he'll take over for Foye, it hasn't come to fruition. And now you got a guy who you took in the third round who might be playing 5% of your starting reps.
So do you like best player available overall, or do you like filling a need in the draft? Because that's like the age-old question in the draft.
Of course. I mean, it all depends, Brent. Like, if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, best player available. Why? Because do you have a lot of things to address? Probably not. I mean, maybe wide receiver, but besides that, I think you're sitting pretty good. I think if you're the Jaguars for a couple years, yeah, I think you got to address more of in terms of need and not necessarily best player available. Because, I mean, and here's, when they drafted Muma, I definitely, kind of thought, what the heck is going on? Just because I get your vision must have been, all right, we're going to have Muma and Lloyd for years and years to come. You'd think that's the vision.
Yeah, I did.
But then I thought, you had Foye Oluokun, and who was playing, once again, one of your most consistent players at that position, most consistent players on the team. So I just didn't envision, how are they all going to work together? How are they all going to fit together?
Yeah, I think I'm taking a look right now at the third round of that 2022 draft. This is kind of mixing in second and third round. So let me get, let's see, the Jags, they took Fortner at the top of that round.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they, at number 70, took Muma. And even the write-up here, this is from PFF. First thing I clicked on. The pick is questionable in terms of need, but Chad Muma is a good value at this point in the draft. There's real merit in that approach. Muma is a prototypical weak side linebacker that can run and chase to the football, coming off PFF grade of about above 90 this most recent season. Gave up only one touchdown into his coverage in his college career. So
they call him a weak side.
They call him a weak side. I think the vision here was to, like you said, Devin Lloyd, weak side, Chad Muma eventually is the future at the middle linebacker spot. Now, maybe that has not transpired as well as they hoped. As I go down this list of names, it's like, okay, who could they have picked instead?
Well, they had the user thing. Travis Jones was what PFF picked for the Jaguars.
Travis Jones and DL, yeah. I mean, then I like to look at who went after him. Jelani Woods went to the Indianapolis Colts. Christian Harris went to the Texans, who's done a nice job, right, at linebacker. But again, that would be another linebacker. This pick was viewed as below average at the time. Jones ended up going to the Ravens. Let's see if there's anybody that really just jumps out. If you go the rest of this third round, and Nakobe Dean hasn't really done much, another linebacker, so they would have went linebacker again. Malik Willis was in this, by the way, class in that third round. Dylan Parham, obviously guard out of Memphis.
And Travis Jones, I mean, you got to wonder, big nose tackle, what that would have looked like. I mean, he's with Baltimore now, and he hasn't really started, but he's played in a lot of games, contributed and everything. So what would that look like if you got him instead of Chad Muma right now?
Yeah. Brian Robinson Jr. I mean, here my point of this is I think you can make the case, and depending on how your board shook out, that they went best player available on their board for special teams, for depth purposes, for future. Like once we get out of the Foye thing, I think you can also make the case that either Foye's done so well, and I think it's worth really noting what Foye has been. I mean, he's been really good, and I think what people love, if you're inside that building for Foye Oluokun, is the fact that he's played in like every game in his career.
Correct. I mean, I'm seeing guys out here. I see pick 103, Leo Chanel, a guy I really liked out of Wisconsin. I mean, he's contributing to the Kansas City Chiefs. That guy's on the field nonstop, a big part of their defense. So.
But you know what's wild is there were a ton of linebackers taken in the third round here. Now, some probably different. Some might be like edge linebackers and that way. But
I mean, Leo Chanel would have gave you a lot. I think Leo Chanel for Kansas City is what you envision Chad Muma to be for Jacksonville.
So listen, I think it's pretty clear now. If we wanted to go even to the fourth round and other rounds, there are players that you could have taken. But I do think we ask a lot of times, and it depends what side you fall on, need best player available. And I think there are indications here that the Jaguars did take best player available in the last couple of years in their draft process, and it hasn't always worked out to really help you out. But there are many times we go back in the draft, right, and we say, man, they could have had this guy if they had just taken best player available.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, I can't fault them for sticking to that if that's what they're going to say. On our board, we're going to take the next guy that's on our board. Whether your board is correct or whether that line of thinking turns out to be correct, well, that's debatable, and that's what we're here for, to criticize. But I think these are a couple of examples, and I don't think we have a lot of examples of that over the years. I think most of the time we feel like this organization has picked for need because they've had a lot of needy spots, right? I mean, that's my biggest contention with the 2020 draft class. They went C.J. Henderson and Kayvon Chason. They did not look at a board. They went at a position. They needed those two positions to take over for Yannick Ngakoue and Jalen Ramsey, and that was not probably their guys on the board if you just put your top 20 players out there. I don't think that's how it would have shook out.
No, you're not wrong there.
So, interesting the way it sometimes does shake out, even if you have a different approach. Hey, let's do this. We'll take a break here at Strings Sports Brewery, and we're just about ready to open the doors. It opens at 11 o'clock here in Springfield, and come hang out with us for lunch. We're shooting some free throws. We'll buy you a beer if you can beat us between 12 and 1, and you get a chance to put your name in the hat for Big TV if you can make 10 out of 10. And they've already got some winners. Austin just went 8 for 10. We'll check out the free throw shooting form in just a little bit. When we come back, it's the Brent and Austin Show here on a Friday. Heck of a weekend in Jacksonville. Alive Credit Union cares about our community. After all, it was founded by people in our community 70 years ago by a group of Florida Blue employees. And the mission still is to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. In here, they are more than just a bank. You can find Alive in the community providing financial education to our youth, sharing programs that are geared toward building credit and rebuilding credit, and supporting causes with amazing organizations like the American Lung Association. In March, Alive Credit Union was back for the 6th time as a sponsor of the American Lung Association's Fight for Air Climb. The event was over the weekend downtown. It was a good turnout with everyone taking steps for a good cause. And Action News Jax's Garrett Biedenbaugh emceed it. Be a part of our community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop. Everyone loves a good game night. Here you don't have to be the host. You don't have to clean up. They bring the food and drinks to you, and you can watch whatever you want on the big screens. It's more than a card room. It's a night full of fun with friends. Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now the newest location here in St. Augustine, right off 95 at exit 311. A brand new clean room, a full bar and menu, my favorite sushi in town. And I love the fries too. You don't have to just play poker at Best Bet. That's why I come over here to the table games and play one-card poker. That's a pretty good card and a win. One-card poker is like war as a kid, you against the dealer. And this isn't the only fun table game to play. A friendly staff, a lot of fun. It's a good night out at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and the newest location in St. Augustine. You can be a serious player or a novice. It doesn't matter. If winning equals fun, you're a winner every time at Best Bet. I'll save you a seat, and I'll see you down here at Best Bet St. Augustine.
Navigating to that perfect car can be a daunting task. Trust me, I understand, but if you want to find the perfect blend of sales and service for your automotive needs, look no further than the Tom Bush family of dealerships.
Here at Tom Bush, they do things right. Dating back to 1970, they've been a staple in the community, giving back and keeping everything local. With 4 different brands to choose from, BMW, Mazda, Volkswagen, and Mini, there's a car for every member of the family, and the customer service is second to none. Looking to add an electric vehicle to your fleet? Tom Bush remains at the forefront of new technology with plenty of staff on hand to walk you through the future of driving and help eligible customers file for that EV tax credit.
Whether you're looking for your future driver's first car or you want to step up to luxury and arrive in style, the Tom Bush family of dealership is the only stop that you need to make.
Stop by the showroom or check out the inventory at tombush.com.
Get outside.
Yeah.
Make friends. Learn life lessons with the First Tee.
Golf is kind of like life in a way.
You can take some stuff you learn on the course and take that and use it in every single day life.
Donate to First Tee's Play Day campaign and everybody wins.
For every $10 you've donated, you're entered to win a free round with a buddy at the Stadium Course, home of the players, with this guy, Len Matisse. Scan the code on your screen or visit actionnewsjax.com to learn more.
I'm Action News Jax First Alert meteorologist Garrett Beaton. Well, the sun is up and it's going to be a beautiful day.
Sometimes you just need a day to yourself. And Garrett's First Alert forecast makes sure you're ready to go out and enjoy. Garrett and the Action News Jax This Morning team, helping you start your morning right.
Discover how good your water can be with a new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We know that at our home. You can find out as well. Right now, you can save $1,000 or more when you bundle the Connecticut Premier Softener with a Connecticut K5 drinking water system. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? Well, CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions to improve it. The higher your water score, the better your water. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242, cgcwater.com. Financing options are available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Oh, there he is. There's Austen Lane.
Oh, come on, man.
I mean,
dude,
come on, Hamby.
I made like literally
8 out of 10.
Yeah.
There we go. Let's just got to let the video roll.
I mean, what are we doing?
I mean, you couldn't handle the pressure of the camera. It was pretty obvious.
I guess.
8 out of 10. You were disappointed in that 8 out of 10.
Yeah, it was all right, man. My shot got kind of messed up a little bit at the end.
When was the last time you actually played basketball?
Well, actually, I played basketball. That would have been, man, that was like 3 or 4 years ago when I was back home for Christmas, and like my friends play, they call it like a beer league, and they invited me to come play in the beer league. It was like against a bunch of guys I played against in high school. And needless to say, man, I was a little rusty, so I think they're kind of disappointed in terms of inviting me to come play with them. But
were you a good free throw shooter back in the day?
No, I was like 70%.
That actually 70% for a bigger guy.
Yeah, I was that, but I mean, it could have been better. Let's just say.
Well, of course it could be better.
Yeah.
I think overall, what do you think? Free throw shooting pretty good now, or like a lot better than it's been? This tournament's been weird. There's been a lot of misses, but I felt like going into the tournament, if you asked me that question like 2 weeks ago, I'd say I think overall in the NBA and in college basketball, it's a lot better than I remembered 5 years ago.
Yeah, Brent, you say that, and then I watched Giannis last night with the Bucks take on the Pelicans, and no. So, no, I think it has got better overall, but there's still some of those players that just seem to struggle a little bit.
Yeah, there are definitely some guys that just can't do it, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? I think I think we take that play for granted.
The free throw.
The free throw. Like, we take it for granted, like the name even indicates. You're supposed to make it. You're wide open.
Yeah,
You've practiced it. Everybody who's ever played basketball has, ended practice or started practice or whatever with 100 free throws or whatever else, And I just think when you get down to the end of a game, I mean, when these kids are 18, 20, 22 years old even, they haven't been in a lot of those moments. The stakes are raised last night. And I actually saw, I think in that Iowa State-Illinois game, I think it was, there's a 50% free throw shooter who hit both his free throws and a 60% free throw shooter who hit both his free throws.
Yeah, I mean, last night, Iowa State should have won that game a couple of times. Missed layups, missed bunnies, and Illinois took advantage, and sometimes it comes down to literally, it's so cliche, but it comes down to a few plays, and sometimes it comes down to the easiest ones, and Iowa State couldn't capitalize last night, and Illinois ends up winning that game. Listen, I'm sure we'll break down more of the tournament later, but feeling pretty good right now about UConn being my champion.
Yeah, well, we don't have to wait till later.
Okay, we'll talk about it now.
Hey, Hamby, was Hamby a basketball guy? Did he play basketball? I don't remember if he did or
no
not.
Basketball
I can't remember.
Okay, so you can't shoot free throws then.
No, I mean, I'd probably shoot about...
I think he's conceding.
I'd probably shoot about 60%, 55, 60% right now. Wasn't a big basketball guy.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. What'd you play instead of basketball then? Ping pong in the garage?
Yeah, and I played, when I was a kid, I played football, but I was literally just year-round baseball, week in, week out, the whole time. The opposite of I specialized instead of diversify, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think so. Overall, I do think free throw shooting, like you have your guys, like maybe Giannis, or we have people that stick out that are so bad at it that I think it morphs our perspective of how many people are good at it. Like there are a lot, like Dame Lillard's hitting like 93% right now from free throw. I think he leads the NBA. We have guys in college basketball that shoot 91, 92%, and we've discussed this before and had fun with it. That that college basketball atmosphere behind that hoop sometimes.
Yeah.
And in the end of the games and some of the places you go, to be 92, 93%, some of those spots, that's pretty impressive.
So, listen, I'm no free throw expert by any means, but I want to say my freshman year, I was only around the 60%, even sometimes 55% range. And I got the advice of you're thinking about it too much. Just shoot the basketball. And you see some of these guys who struggle shooting free throws, they take their time, they're going through their form. And I just feel like when you do that, you're putting so much more on yourself to be okay, here we go, here's another free throw, as opposed to just going like Steph Curry, just shoot it up there and it's in.
It's second nature.
It's second nature. Yeah.
Yeah, there is something different about that.
What's up?
Did you see Moses Brown's free throw shooting the other day? I didn't know who he was until 2 days ago. He's a big for Portland Trail Blazers.
I have not seen Moses Brown free throw shooting.
All right, well, during the break, I'll have to go pull it because it's one of the worst of all time.
Okay, if you're going to describe
a lot, by the way.
Yeah, if you're going to describe it, what are we talking about here?
We're talking 2 dribbles, gather with 2 hands, transfer it to one, and flicking it with one, and we're barely hitting the rim.
Ooh,
oof. That's not good. All right, hey, how about the NCAA tournament? Those games were really good. You just said it, UConn. They are now beating everybody by 30.
Just relax, UConn.
Listen, I get why everybody thought UConn was the team to beat, but now are we seeing some kind of historic plow through the tournament? That starts to enter the fray a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, watching that game for the first 10 minutes, so it's okay, and this could be a competitive game with San Diego State, and then UConn just reminded us why they're UConn, and it wasn't even close. Yeah, if they keep doing what they're doing, make no mistake about it, Brett. That San Diego State team was a pretty legit team. They were good, and UConn just made them look like a YMCA rec team. So, yeah, I don't see the signs of UConn really slowing down at all, just because they're so versed everywhere. They have experience. They're obviously greatly coached. It's just they have everything that you want out of a championship team. And like, yeah, sure, you might have like an off shooting night per se, but I still like even with an off shooting night, you can still make up for that, which with your experience that they have.
How concerned are you about UConn, Hamby? I mean, are they just going to run this thing, or are we going to see somebody pull the upset? And maybe it's Illinois that's able to do it. Maybe it's the next one.
Yeah.
I mean, three more are going to get a crack at it. But right now, I mean, I don't know what their odds were to win the tournament in the early going, but right now it feels like it's just elevated, like triple time, whatever the odds are. Anybody beating UConn?
I mean, they're 8.5-point favorites over Illinois tomorrow night. Which is pretty substantial, even though it's 1 versus 3. So, it's going to take a team that shoots lights out from 3. Probably is the only chance that a team is going to have to upset them. And right now, I don't know. I don't think they have odds to run the table and win the championship because we're so late into it. But I would venture to say that it's probably about even odds for them to win it right now.
Yeah, I mean, well, I would, maybe better.
Yeah.
It might be better the way they look. What's interesting about this, we talk about Zach Edey, and then UConn has a ton of size as well.
Yeah.
So this is like a tournament, really, that feels like it's shifted more toward the interior play, or at least the size game, than it has the guard game. And I'm not saying we have plenty of examples that guards are playing and playing well, too.
I mean, look at Illinois.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we might get a matchup of Purdue and UConn, and those are bigs.
True, yeah. But I mean, once again,
UConn's got it all.
UConn can do it all, man. They have the perimeter shooting to go along with the bigs. It's just, UConn's kind of like that unicorn, man, that, you don't see a team like them every tournament. But no, I think it is a testament, too, where, listen, I was the first one to say it. I just feel like the bigs are kind of slept on, as they should be, just because it's more of a guard game now. It's more of a higher scoring game. But Zach Edey averaging, 24, 25, 26 points a game in this tournament. And then obviously with UConn as well. Maybe we're starting to see a resurgence a little bit, Brent, of the bigs.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a resurgence. I think it actually goes back. It's almost more like it's a unicorn, right? It's like you play in a different way than everybody else. Like, that's what Edey is, in my opinion. I mean, nobody has that. Like, how do you prepare for that? How do you defend for that? What are you going to do to counter that? And so, like, when you play Purdue, you're playing. Like, you got to play Purdue different than you play almost anybody else.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go try to find a giant Russian or, European dude to try to recruit real quick to stop Zach Edey, because that's all you can do with him. Like, who you have is who you have. If you have guys that are below 7 feet, good luck to you.
What else did you think? I mean, Clemson.
Well, okay. So, Brent, I owe you an apology, because I thought North Carolina was going to mop the floor with them.
Well, that was Alabama.
I'm sorry. Clemson was
Arizona.
Sorry. Same thing, though, because I had Arizona going on in my Final Four. Yeah, I got a little confused, yeah. So I had Arizona in my Final Four, and they were playing some good basketball. And I thought Clemson, in terms of just their travel and everything, no, I think that actually maybe benefited them a little bit for whatever reason. But I was not familiar with Clemson's game. Didn't watch a lot of Clemson Tiger basketball this year, but they're a fun team to watch.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is like out of the blue, by the way. I mean, they were getting, I think, a little disenchanted with their coach. I think that the program, they haven't been to the Elite Eight since 1980. And I think I saw that in 1980. Mm-hmm. And then also Illinois. Illinois hadn't been since for 19 years to the Elite Eight, which surprises me. I feel like I've seen them peak, but hey, 20 years goes by fast, I guess, because they did have some good teams back in the early 2000s and even in the 90s that you remember. So, we say we didn't really get Cinderella. Clemson actually has a Cinderella feel. NC State will play tonight, but I think some of these historic, welcome back to the fray teams feel a little Cinderella-ish with Illinois and Clemson. Maybe you got to wear orange.
Yeah, maybe that's the key right there. And talking about Alabama then as well. I owe you guys an apology again, because I was not. I mean, I knew who Alabama was, but they lose that one guy to injury.
Yeah.
And UNC shoots lights out in the first half. I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I expected to happen. And I always say this, and I think we had Coach Driscoll from UNF talk about this, where it's like, being able to shoot and score, that's talent. right? You can either have that, you can facilitate that, but you either have that or you don't. Defense is all about attitude. And I thought that in that second half, Alabama really showed in terms of defense, of stepping up to the plate a little more and shutting down that North Carolina team. Because in the first half, North Carolina kind of had their run. Wide open shots, and they're a great shooting team. So credit to Alabama coming out the second half, changing it up a little bit, and playing some damn good defense.
So you're looking at my bracket, and, obviously decent shape. Iowa State, I just lost them. So there you go for a Final Four, trying to be a little gutsy there, and it didn't pay off. But Clemson has. Now we get Clemson, Alabama, actually, and Hamby has Alabama going to the Final Four. So it'd be kind of a nice win just to get even Clemson into the Final Four for me, or Alabama for Hamby. The one thing about Alabama, now this is a nice couple-year run for Nate Oates and the Crimson Tide. They were a number 1 seed. Last year they were disappointing, and now here they are again knocking on the door with a little less pressure on them as a number 4 seed, and maybe that's just a better place to be, and they were able to get the win and represent the SEC. SEC still has 2 teams left, so we'll see.
Breathing a giant sigh of relief after that
after that opening day,
after that opening stumble.
So let's stay on college hoops just for a second tonight as you watch him here at Strings Sports Brewery. Come on out in the evening. 7:09 is the first tip on CBS 47, and I think this is going to be a fun game. Got the hottest team in America. You can really make the case in NC State. Can they keep cooking against a Marquette team that's trying to kind of find itself again with Kolek in there? I like this game. It might be my favorite game of the night, even. I mean, there's some good ones.
There's some great ones.
I do like Creighton, Tennessee a lot, actually even more than the Purdue-Gonzaga game.
Yeah.
And obviously Duke and Houston speak for itself. But if you're going to – I think NC State Marquette will have some crazy entertainment value. And probably just because, well, that's got to be where is that where – No, Catalan's in Detroit, so he's got Gonzaga. Maybe I should actually say that's where the entertainment's going to be.
Yeah, usually it follows them. Do you think Trent Bulka's going to be recruiting that big guy tonight with the long arms for NC State, like the big dude? I can't remember his name now. But yeah, he's you know what's funny about Burns. You know what's been interesting about him and the Lampkins kid out of Colorado? Big guys. They can really move. I know.
Now, the NC State guys are a little different kind of big. Yeah, it's not like they go play him for 3 minutes and they got to sit him down. I mean, a lot of those kind of guys, sometimes on the basketball court, you wonder if they can walk and chew gum. It's kind of like the difference with, like, Edey, 7'4". It's one thing to be 7'4", but he's an athletic 7'4". He can do more than walk and chew gum, which is even more of an advantage. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know how you can't like tonight's games.
Yeah.
Great spot to watch them right here at Strings Sports Brewery, and we'll see how it shakes out. And by Monday, when we come back at it, the Final Four will be set for 2024. All right, let's take a timeout. We come back, we'll see what happened in Major League Baseball, update you on, obviously, the NFL. We have an interesting quarterback topic. I saw an article that was actually a little bit of what we were talking about in the last couple of weeks about the 2021-22 quarterback class, but it comes with some executives commenting about why some of those guys are failing, and I thought there was some interesting stuff there. We'll get to it in just a bit. Come on out, hang out with us for lunch here at Strings Sports Brewery in Springfield. Free throw shooting contest, TV up for grabs, free beer up for grabs as well. Austin still hanging in there with Marquette. Marquette could be a big one, and he's got UConn as a national champ. I like his chances after watching the Huskies play over the last couple of weeks.
I like to say everybody has a story, and sometimes we're a part of other people's stories. That's the case here at Nimnicht Buick GMC. My family and the Nimnicht family. We've purchased 6 different vehicles from Nimnicht Buick GMC. Maybe you're in the market for a truck. Well, let me tell you about the GMC Sierra. I absolutely love mine. I've had a couple of these. This one's a 2020, but right now on 2024 GMC Sierras here at Nimnicht Buick GMC, there's special financing. A year ago, we purchased a GMC Terrain for the kids.
Financing rates as low as 0.9% for eligible buyers on Terrains and no payments for 90 days.
Looking for used instead of new? Buy a used car with the Car Bravo program. Nimnicht Buick GMC certifies all makes and models. Let the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville take care of you and your family. Come on out and see the showroom, meet the fantastic people, or shop online at nimnichtbuickgmc.com. Nimnicht, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
What started out as better people, better projects just keeps getting, well, better. That's Better Exterior Solutions, ready to help you create a better outdoor experience. Check this out. Motorized pergolas are the latest in technology to transform your outdoor space. Beautiful day? Let the sun shine through. Summer rainstorm? These pergola systems close automatically to keep the weather out. From residential to commercial uses, Better Exterior Solutions has products customized to meet virtually any existing architectural structure. With retractable awnings, screens, and hurricane shutters too, if you want unparalleled quality and expertise, you need Better Exterior Solutions. Get a free estimate by visiting betterexteriors.com. Better Exterior Solutions. Experience better.
It's a new logo, new branding, but with Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. And with that comes the perks we miss in the big business world. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who's coming to your house. You know they will be well trained. And they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at boldcityac.com. The folks at Bold City Heating and Air also know your AC unit is important and can be a big expense. That's why they have financing to help. No payments, no interest for 12 months on new systems. $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at boldcityac.com. Homegrown in your hometown. Bold City Heating and Air.
Thank you for making Action News Jax the best in Jax and Folio's Best of Jax 2023. Best TV station, best TV newscast, best TV morning show. Chandler Morgan voted best TV anchor. The Chief, Mike Burrish, voted best meteorologist. And Brent Martineau voted best TV sports anchor. And while you're on the go, best news website and best local blog, the Burrish blog. Thank you for making Action News Jax local coverage you can count on.
Stop by the new car sales event happening right now at Greenway Kia at the Avenues. $500 in a job gets you in a Kia. And Michael Montiero and the staff here at Greenway Kia are here to make it happen. Experience great customer service and become a part of their family. And while you're here, check out the Kia Forte GT line, full of comfort, innovation, and has driver assist technology. And how about the affordable new Kia EV9, the fast-charging, all-new electrical SUV with high-performance capability, 3-row seats with 304 miles of maximum driving range. Over 1,000 new Kia models, some starting at $199 a month. And as always, get the 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. Come shop at Greenway Kia at the Avenues, located on Phillips Highway. You can shop online at greenwaykiaattheavenues.com. And remember, $500 and a job gets you in a Kia at Greenway Kia at the Avenues.
When you think sports, you think Action Sports Jax, the official station of the Jaguars, on location for every game. But the most experienced team in town doesn't stop there. From high school football to the big events in the area, Action Sports Jax is always on. Now, we take that to a new level. Action Sports Jax 24/7 is around-the-clock coverage of the teams you love and the moments you can't miss. The best local sports in Jacksonville on Action Sports Jax 24/7.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Hey, here's a look at Strings Sports Brewery. They really decorate this place nice when it comes to Jacksonville sports. You see a Gamble, one of the Gamble brothers, Jumbo Shrimp, and you know the names there, Stroud, Lambeau, Peterson, Norman, and then look at that number 23 up there, Foye Oluokun, who's made an appearance here on Jaguars All Access at Strings Sports Brewery in the past, and he signs a new extension with the Jacksonville Jaguars today, number 23 up there. here at Strings Sports Brewery as the lunch crowd starts to come in. I mean, just opened the doors at 11 o'clock, and, well, here they come. I would expect this to be a great day to be here at Strings Sports Brewery. You got the outside and a beautiful day in Jacksonville. Maybe getting off work a little bit early on a Friday because does anybody really work on a Friday anymore? Like, when did that stop? But nobody works on a Friday, especially a holiday weekend kind of Friday.
I mean, but my son's off of school again, so there you go.
My kids are off of school. Of course, my kids are seniors, so I don't know if they actually go to school.
There you go. I mean, it's the last year. You're all good to go.
But it looks like we're going to have a fantastic weekend weather-wise as well. Great to watch the NCAA tournament here at Strings. Again, free throw shooting contest. You just made 8 out of 10 again.
Yeah, the guy put pressure on me. He said if I make 10 out of 10, I'm going to be eligible for the TV. Yeah, he even said it. Yep, right over here.
Well, and that's the thing. You could be up against anybody. Like he said, I don't care who it is. I don't care if you play for a professional team or if you play for the Ospreys or the Dolphins.
Yeah.
He said one of the great, really good shooters from Episcopal, KJ is the young man's name. He qualified. So you're going to have to go against a really good shooter out of Episcopal if you come back next Saturday. But you have until now, from now all the way through next Friday to do this. We'd love for you to come out in the show, challenge us. We'll buy you a beer if you beat us.
Yeah.
But 10 for 10, you have until next Friday to get into the playoff, which will start to take place next Saturday here at Strings.
I mean, I had the pressure on me, Brent. I just kept seeing visions of me playing that PS5 and that new flat screen TV right there, and it just 8 out of 10 again. I can't shake 8 out of 10. Second time I got 8 out of 10.
Well, here's what I'm looking at on this. This is how my brain operates now. If you get this TV, it does have Apple TV and Roku as well, and so.
Oh, watch it. Yeah.
Action Sports Jax 24/7 network, folks.
See, that's where Brent's mind goes, helping out our show. I just go to video games right away, but it's all good.
You got to check out the network. That's what you can easily find. ActionNewsJax.com, Action News Jax app. And if you're watching in your living room, you download the Action News Jax Now app. And you can see it on all those different platforms on that big 65-inch TV or whatever TV you have at home. Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show. Brent Martineau, Austen Lane, and Jason Hamby on this Friday. We might have to give this old guy a boost to get to the free throw, huh?
For sure.
Bring that thing in, wheel that thing in a little bit more.
You can't be talking smack to 5-year-old.
I'm saying we got to have like a little hoop over here.
Yeah. Now
that's
we're
a
talking.
Tough putt right there,
dude. That's a really tough putt. I think my son would even have problems with that one. Yep.
I used to be the greatest. I could still visualize myself in the driveway.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I mean, it's like a mega squat, man, to get that thing and just heave it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a boulder in your hands when you're like 30 pounds.
And then my hoop was at like my grandfather's cabin, so it was like a dirt road with rocks. And I remember just thinking, like, man, like if I can master it here, I can master it anywhere. Like, oh, what's this? A queen court? Like that's waxed? Dude, I'm playing with gravel and then rocks and everything.
You genuinely thought you were like I was Larry Bird or something, right?
Listen,
Terre Haute or
I don't compare myself to Larry Bird a lot for good reason, but yeah, in that instance, I was definitely like Larry Bird.
You had the story all played out in your mind. Austen Lane, NBA player. Look where he grew up, playing on the rocks and the dirt at Grandpa's in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
The story could write itself. Brent and Austin Show, and big news today, Foye Oluokun signs that extension for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Another NCAA tournament's going on. Major League Baseball started up yesterday. Anything catch your attention in Major League Baseball? It's just day one. A lot of runs being scored, I can tell you that.
A lot of runs being scored. Vlad Guerrero doing some yard work with that long home run that he hit, but I mean, nothing like out of the ordinary for me.
Yeah, a 14-run inning for the Diamondbacks. I feel like a lot of the teams that you thought would win won. The Yankees actually get a big throw from Juan Soto that helps them come back to beat the Houston Astros, who had a 4-0 lead in that game. So, yeah, I mean, listen, it's exactly what we said it was. The Major League Baseball season is so long, like the result of the opener is not really as important as the feel of the opener.
But there's some fans out there, teams that are just like, oh, well, that's it. Season's done already. Like you can tell after one game. And shout to your Sox.
Yeah, Sox going to win 6-4 last night. I'm trying to learn who my team is.
Sure.
I haven't paid attention much, but Brewers and Mets, Braves and Phillies, they will get to go today. It looks like the weather will cooperate. And Yankees.
Let's play two, huh? Let's get two going right away.
There's actually a lot of games today.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers did win, and that middle of the lineup did its thing to help propel the Dodgers to a victory. So just the storylines to watch. I think Ohtani went 2 for 3. They've already played 3 games now. They're 2-1 on the season because of the 2 games in South Korea. So Major League Baseball continues this weekend. The Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. See that? Got it going today.
See you repping.
The Jumbo Shrimp will open tonight. Nice weekend for them. 7 o'clock, 6:30, I think, on Saturday and Sunday. And the Jumbo Shrimp are just home for a 3-game stand to start the year. And then they'll hit the road and come back in another week and a half or so. You can hear, by the way, the Jumbo Shrimp games over on ESPN 690, our old place. So that's where you can catch the games if you're not going out to the ballpark. But fantastic night to catch a game. Fantastic weekend to catch a game at the ballpark at 121 Financial and right down there at the baseball grounds. You know they'll be ready to go and have all the festivities. We've got a lot of coverage of the Shrimp coming up all weekend long. All right, the last couple of weeks we've been talking, Mac Jones kind of started this, and then there was Justin Fields, who finds a home as a backup in Pittsburgh. We know Zach Wilson and Trey Lance really weren't going to have a place to play for the most part. That 21 class dissipated, like right before our eyes, other than Trevor. But really, if you start to link it up with the 22 class and some of the recent history at quarterback drafting, it has not been good. It just really hasn't been good. And my vantage point on this was I was wrong. I thought we were about to get some of the best quarterback play we've ever seen top to bottom in the NFL. And now we're left scratching our heads a lot with the quarterback position once again. I don't know if you feel the same way. Like, is the quarterback play right now top to bottom in the NFL? Is it as strong as it's ever been? Is it par for the course where you got some good, some bad, some elite, some terrible? Or is it worse than it maybe has been in the last 10 years?
Yeah, that's a good question. Overall, let me start by asking you this, Brent. Trevor Lawrence. Obviously, he's kind of the last man standing right now, so we can just skip him because, he's still doing his thing. Best guy of the draft class so far. Justin Fields. Did he have the team needed to bring out the best in him?
No.
Zach Wilson.
No.
You don't think Zach Wilson? See, here's
not in his rookie year.
No, not his. I'm going to say just in general. What we've seen so far from his career.
I think the offensive line was very good. Yeah, offensive line was not good.
But you saw the go-to receiver.
Yeah.
So I think with Zach Wilson, you kind of know what you.
I think Zach Wilson was more on hit a lot. I think you could blame more him.
Of course, yeah.
Justin Fields, I have a hard time blaming him as much as the organization.
Sure, and then obviously Mac Jones. How do you feel about that?
I really blame the organization on Mac. And again, I think it feels like there's some of him involved here that he didn't handle some of it as well as he could. Maybe that's just a young guy thing. But I thought they did a hell of a job with him in year one. And then I thought they turned around and did about as bad a job as you could do in year two. I mean, almost in a different way to the extent of what the Jags did to Trevor in year one with Urban.
Yeah, exactly. So I get, we're going to call them busts right now. And let's be honest, when you're a first-round pick like that, that comes with the territory. All right? So I'm not saying that they're not busts, but also I think that circumstances and situations can purvey that, hey, maybe you weren't really set up for success, and maybe with a new environment, you will find some sort of success. Zach Wilson, sorry, man. I'm out at you. I don't think it's going to work. Chris Sims, sorry. That was your boy. All the endorsements and everything, too, they got in New York. Sorry, man. I think I'm going to roll Trevor here over anybody. But getting back to, what I think overall, Brent, in the league, I still think it's kind of the same as it's always been. It's really? Kind of top. I think, your top five, it's really top-heavy, right? Let's throw them out right now. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. Do I dare? Yeah, I'm going to say it. Justin Herbert from the past. I don't know. We'll see going forward. Joe Burrow, and then Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, whatever you want to throw in the mix as well. That's, to me, it's the top-heavy top five.
Yeah, I think you have your elite.
I probably missed somebody, too.
What I think about it is almost on the bottom end.
Okay.
How bad is the bad?
Well, Desmond Ridder last year was pretty bad. Was bad.
Was pretty bad. Yeah. Bryce Young, because of, again, maybe more situational. But, yeah, I do think if you look at it across the board, I think it's still better than what it's been. I think you have more good quarterbacks. Like Trevor Lawrence. We're bought into Trevor here. The rest of the league, I believe, is actually modern to Trevor here. But I don't think you would rank him in the top 8. In the top 10, you might have to get to 12 and even 13, 14 coming off last year because of the injuries and stuff and some of the turnovers to actually rank him. So when you have Trevor Lawrence, who you think you're going to sign to a mega deal, and you think he's still your guy for a long time to come. I mean, how many organizations 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago were thinking that the 13th guy, 14th guy potentially in the NFL, you wanted to sign him and have him for the rest of his career?
Yeah.
So maybe that's a good indicator that we do have more good quarterback play than we've ever had.
So to me, this is the ultimate indicator. If you go through team by team and you say the team, do they want a new quarterback or not? Are they happy with what they have? You know, like that to me is what signifies, like, I think even like the New York Giants. Well, you paid Daniel Jones a lot of money, but would they rather upgrade?
Yeah.
I would. I mean, like, how many teams can really say are trying to upgrade right now? You know, I mean, we have like the Cardinals. I mean, they're pot committed to Kyler Murray. But I don't think they want to go another direction right now.
Wait, you do or don't?
I don't think. I think Kyler Murray is going to be their guy for years to come.
So you think so? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, do you?
Yeah. I mean, I think if they had a chance, well, they do have a chance to do it. If they wanted to trade him to Minnesota, they could, or something like that. Now, somebody's going to dance with you there.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I think you'd have to label them as they're all in on Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
I think it's very debatable whether the rest of the league would be all in on Kyler Murray, but that's not the nature of your question.
Okay, so you have the Falcons. They're probably drafting, looking to upgrade eventually from Kirk Cousins. Like, Kirk Cousins seems to be like a Band-Aid right now.
Yeah, but let's just go 2 years out. Let's just say 2-3 years out, and he's fine. So
he's fine. Okay, Ravens, obviously they're good. Bills, they're great. Panthers, I mean,
they got their guy.
We'll see how that turns out.
They have no other choice, really.
Yeah. Bears, I mean,
they're going to get their
guy. Bengals, they have their guy. Browns,
they have to. They're committed. They got their guy.
Yeah. Cowboys.
Dallas does. There's going to be a lot of noise around it, but Dak's their guy.
Yep.
Denver doesn't.
Denver, so that's another team. The Lions got their guy.
Yeah.
Packers got their guy. Texans got their guy. Colts got their. I mean, we'll see.
They have to.
But they have their guy. Jaguars got their guy. Kansas City Chiefs got their guy. Raiders need their guy. Okay, so that's 3. Chargers got their guy. Rams.
Yeah, I'd say
right now they have their guy.
Yeah.
Dolphins.
Yes.
Yeah, they have their
They're
guy.
going to give him a contract.
Vikings.
No.
Going to need to find their guy.
New England, no.
Patriots going to need to find their guy. Saints.
I would say no.
All right.
I feel like no. I feel like if they were drafting the top 5, they would go get a young guy right now.
Yep.
But they're just not. They're
Jones,
like 14.
You think they're kind of pot committed to Jones, or do you think they can?
Who, the Giants?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, I think they don't have their guy. I put them in don't.
Okay. Jets have their guy for right now. We'll see. Eagles have their guy. Steelers have their couple guys. San Fran's got their guy. Seahawks. I mean, they have their guy in Geno.
Yeah, I would say so.
There could be an upgrade, but I think they like Geno.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay just re-signed their guy.
Yep.
Tennessee Titans.
I'd say
they got their guy.
They're committed to him.
Yep. Commanders.
No.
So we have about 7-8 teams that.
But you could say the Commanders are going to have their guy.
Well,
right?
and that's the thing, right? So
are the Patriots.
Depending how the draft plays out, I mean, take 3 of those teams off the list. So we have 4 teams that are kind of like in limbo, and the rest is pretty much set with what they're at.
And even if you go to your original list, that's 25% of the league that doesn't feel like they have their quarterback, or at least isn't committed to the player that they have over the next 2 or 3 years in this sample.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Stafford's a little tricky because he might only play another year or 2. We'll see. But let's just go with it for another. He could play for another 3 years and get it done. So, yeah, I think I guess that's my point. I think we did answer it. I think the play is better. I think if you go back 5 years, I think if you go back 10 years, I think if you go back 20 years, you can't get 24 teams in the league to say, yeah, feel good. That's a hard thing to do at that spot. That's been my overriding thing. But what's fascinating about that is the 21 class and the 22 class haven't been as good as they thought they'd be. They have to recycle. I mean, Chicago has to reset. New England has to reset. The Jets had to reset because of Rodgers, right? Whoever else, what were we missing? Well, San Francisco got kind of fortunate. So the Packers and San Fran get a little fortunate with the moves they made, or hats off to them. But 2 of those teams are kind of left doing it again. And I'm telling you, Chicago's getting a little fortunate because of the trade with Carolina that they get to do it again.
Yeah.
And New England all of a sudden now is picking top 3, so they can do it again.
I mean, I'm not even going to call Green Bay fortunate because at least they had the plan.
They did have
right?
a plan.
Like, I mean, it was essentially what you did with Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre, right? You brought a guy in, much to the chagrin of a lot of Packers fans who aren't really talking smack now about it, but at the time they were kind of turned off by it. But now you have your guy, San Fran. Like, yeah, we talked about this before a little bit. They kind of lucked into it. I mean, now, you ask yourself the question, would you give up knowing what you know now for Brock Purdy? Like, would you have taken Brock Purdy in Trey Lance's spot? Like, no. You wouldn't have drafted him at that spot. I'm saying know what you know now. I think that's a valid question, Brent.
Yeah, I don't.
Guy playing the Super Bowl, and I get it, he had help around him.
Yeah, I just
was in the MVP running for a little bit.
I feel like I wouldn't.
Okay.
Just being honest. Like, I feel like I wouldn't. You would?
I mean, I'm not saying that I would, but I think you can make an argument for it.
Well, I think you
and
can.
That's kind of my point, though, where it's like, yeah, you lucked in with Brock Purdy. You made a mistake with Trey Lance, but it all worked out in the end anyways. You know, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I call that getting lucky.
Sure. No, I hear you. I mean, yeah.
That's a good question, though. Like, I guess.
Would you have taken Brock Purdy at Trey Lance's spot?
Knowing what you know now.
Yeah.
And like, do you think Brock, and this is very unfair to him, even for me to think that way or any of us to think this way. The guy's done a fantastic job.
Mm-hmm.
But are you still sold on him? If you could get, if San Fran was picking number 1, 2, or 3 in this draft, and they could get Caleb Williams, Drake May, or Jaden Daniels, or heck, for that matter now, J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah.
Would they go do it?
You know, it's wild because, like, I look at Brock Purdy, and, like, I think if you put Brock Purdy on 70% of the NFL teams, he's not going to, like, enhance them. You know, like he's not going to make them a better team. Like, you know, you put Aaron Rodgers in any team, back in Aaron Rodgers' prime, dude, that team's immediately a playoff contender, Super Bowl contender. Brock Purdy can't say the same thing. But on the flip side of that coin, though, Brent, I mean, you ask a rookie to come in Philadelphia, does his thing, and it's like, well, his genetic makeup, like, he must have something.
Got so, yeah.
You know, so to answer your question,
and he started winning games late. That was the problem with them, right? They could never win a game in the fourth quarter. Yeah. He started to do that.
So, like, if I'm going to be truthful here, and, like, does he have something, an attribute that makes you, like, jump off the page, like the arm strength or, like, the speed? Not really. But the guy just knows how to win. And if that's the case, then yeah, I'm probably going to roll with him over any of these quarterbacks. I mean, Caleb Williams, whatever. But, like, I would like Brock Purdy.
I think it's a fascinating question on if the Niners were picking somehow, if they were in like the Chicago situation where they were the ones that made the trade and they were able to trade with Carolina, and Carolina ended up being number 1 overall pick, and then San Francisco's number 1, or let's just say even number 2 in this scenario. If they were picking in the top 5, would they draft a quarterback, or would they be like, we're riding with Brock Purdy and go keep building around? I don't know the answer to that. Like, and that's a weird thing to say. But just because you have a good player doesn't mean you can't upgrade. We say that all the time, and that might be the case at the quarterback position too. Would you even upset it? Listen, they're not in that situation. You don't have to worry about it. But it's just a fascinating view on how good do you feel about Brock Purdy. And I have a feeling we're going to have this kind of conversation for the next 5 years around Brock Purdy until they lose more talent on San Fran and he's still able to do it. And by that time, by the way, he might be a seasoned player that's able to do it. I say this all the time about Brady and about Russell Wilson. They were set up very nicely at the outset. They were not asked to do what they were asked to do 5 years into their career. And Brock Purdy might be in that same boat where he can be groomed and built and confident all this way, and then when it's time to ask him to do more things, he's ready for it, rather than in year 1 or year 2, where all these other quarterbacks that we're about to talk about or have been talking about, they're asked to do it now. Right? We need you to do this right away. You can't just ease into this thing. We need you to be good. We need you to carry us. We need you to pull us along. Tough spot for a lot of these guys.
I mean, I know we had this ranking before, and I can't remember like where you had him finishing, but like, to you, where is Brock Purdy in terms of quarterbacks in this league, in terms of ranking? Like, where would you put him?
I think right now, I think you have to slide him up based on what he did at the end of games. It's not just around him. It's end of game. You still have to be good. Like, we've seen plenty of quarterbacks still not be good with decent situations. I think he's probably a middle-of-the-pack quarterback for me. I think he's between, like, 14 and 18.
Okay.
You know, but he's not a top 10 quarterback for me. I think if you took quarterbacks between 11 and 20 that you wanted to rank in the league, and no matter who that was, including Trevor Lawrence, if you want to put him there for right now, if you put them on San Francisco, I think we'd be singing their praises too.
Sure.
I think that's real life.
Yeah, I mean, it is a lot of talent. We saw Jimmy Garoppolo have that talent, though, too. And,
Jimmy got to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but was Jimmy Garoppolo ever like an MVP running? I mean, maybe he was. I just don't remember it. But I don't remember people saying, like, Jimmy Garoppolo could be an MVP. And Brock Purdy essentially was until they played, like, what, the Ravens game? Or
yeah,
the one game?
The Ravens.
Like,
yeah, it was the Ravens.
Quick.
But Jimmy G's a great example here. I mean, when Jimmy G has not been in San Francisco around that talent,
he's forgotten.
They've struggled, right? I mean, he struggled. Like, he's a backup quarterback who now, just went to the Rams, I think it was. So I think he's a great example. I think Jimmy G can't even be a starting quarterback right now. But on San Francisco, in that situation, he helped save the San Francisco 49ers the one year they started Trey Lance. And they needed Garoppolo until he got hurt, and then Purdy came in to help save the San Francisco 49ers. So, yeah, I think that actually is an exclamation point on my point and probably a lot of other people's points. Jimmy G was there. He got them to the same place Purdy got them.
Yeah.
And that was, by the way, wasn't that pre-McCaffrey?
Oh, of course.
And that was pre-McCaffrey, yeah. So I think that echoes our point of, like, I think you could take a bunch of guys in the league. Like, how good would Justin Fields be? He's going to be a backup. How good would he be? How good would Mac? If they really did get Mac at that third pick, how good would he be in that spot compared to now being a backup in Jackson?
Well, then here's the other question, though, too, Brent, I wanted to address. Then how bad is Trey Lance?
That's a fair one now.
Now, I mean, he hasn't really got a big sample size, but once again, from, like, I'm sure what they've seen in practice and everything, like,
yeah, I think Trey Lance is starting to go down the path of Josh Rosen, where it was a very small sample, and then everything else around it, whatever that is, and I don't know what everything else is, just says not going to happen. Because Josh Rosen's very similar, right? I mean, how many career games did Josh Rosen play? I think he played a lot of them his first year, but after that, like nothing.
Yeah, he had a few in Miami, I think.
Just very few.
Yeah, but very few. Yeah.
They gave up on him quick. I think he ended up in Tampa, never did anything, and now here we go with Trey Lance. He's on his, third team? He's not in Dallas anymore, I think. Or maybe he still is in Dallas?
I have to look it up.
There was talk about him going to Minnesota and them giving him a shot. But hey, here's the bottom line: Kenny Pickett, Desmond Ridder, Malik Willis,
Trey Lance still on the Cowboys, by the way.
Oh, he still is on the Cowboys. Zappy, Sam Howell, Trevor, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Mac Jones, and the story here is Trevor Lawrence is the only starter. These other guys have been traded, third string in the UFL, cut, now a backup, traded, will be traded or cut, meaning Zach Wilson, traded. And the 33rd team here, they talked to executives, said, why is the shelf life of young quarterbacks so short? And this executive said, players like Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Mac Jones, Zach Wilson would likely be second or third round picks if they came out when Aaron Rodgers did.
Interesting.
The fact that they are considered top prospects highlights how desperate teams are for a quarterback and how inflated the quarterback market has become. Now, what I would argue with that executive, hasn't it always been inflated? I mean, haven't we always shoved quarterbacks to the top?
Also, keep in mind, Aaron Rodgers dropped immensely in that draft, too. It wasn't like Aaron Rodgers like a big commodity.
He was sitting in that green room for a while. He also said quarterbacks are drafted more based on their position and actual skill level. Before the rookie wage scale, only players worthy of top money were drafted in the top 10. Now quarterbacks are frequently picked in the top 10 simply because of position. So that's understandable. Eric Galko from the Shrineville says, I believe it really stems from the 2011 CBA change regarding the rookie wage scale.
Okay.
And before that, the investment in all draft picks, especially quarterbacks, was so significant that teams couldn't justify moving on until they had to. From 2012 to 18, we didn't have any great quarterback years, or a lot of QBs that teams should have moved on from sooner, like Blake Bortles or Trubisky, were the only exceptions. Combine that with the correlation between rookie deals and Super Bowl appearances, it's likely why teams are so ready to move on, especially from first-round quarterbacks. So basically what they're saying is that the finances of the NFL have done. Chicago's the greatest point here. I think you can make the case that Justin Fields is fine in Chicago if he has Keenan Allen and DJ Moore and a first pick coming in and then a ninth pick coming in.
DeAndre Swift running the football.
DeAndre Swift. Like, I think Justin Fields would be fine.
Yeah.
But what they're also factoring in now is, wait a minute, we don't know he's the guy. Should we give him $40, $50 million, or should we reboot the position with another guy we don't fully know is the guy, but he's certainly as talented, if not more talented, than Justin Fields is projected to be? Like, I think the whole Chicago move that makes sense, which I didn't believe on the front part of it, but really it does make a lot of sense, is just reboot the contract. You get another rookie deal. Rather than having to give a guy any money, whether it's Fields making $30 million even, it's still a lot more money than a guy like Caleb Williams.
No, it's true. But the thing with Caleb Williams is, like, you gave him all the pieces, so you are tied to him now. Like, it's got to be the Caleb Williams show, regardless if it's good, bad, or indifferent.
Oh, yeah.
You're tied to him for 3 or 4 years.
Well, and everybody's gone if they don't get it right.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's
we'll
obvious.
see you later.
Within probably 2 years.
Yeah.
NFC executive says this. Frankly, looking at the 21-22 list, some of the guys just weren't really good and were overdrafted. Maybe the teams just didn't realize until the player was in the building. It was like, oh, boy, we know what it's supposed to look like, and this isn't it. So you go, why did we do that? The answer you come up with is, we did it based on our needs. He said, for me, I don't care what position you take. If you force yourself to take a guy too early, you're going to wake up at some point and just say, well, shoot, he just isn't really that good. And it looks way worse when it's a top 15 pick and it's a quarterback of all positions. I think that's real.
Yeah.
And again, this is the position that gets shoved up. Sometimes you reach. The Jaguars, if you go back, I'll give you an example. They reached for Quincy Williams at the time because they didn't have a fourth-round pick. Now, if they stayed patient with Quincy Williams, maybe they didn't reach, right?
But it would have been a steal.
It might have been a steal. But you don't reach with linebacker very often. You don't reach with offensive line very often. You don't reach with receiver very often.
Yeah.
You actually will wait for the next guy to drop to you sometimes, or even trade back with those positions. You reach with the quarterback position.
No, I agree, Brent. But at the same time, too, and I'm not trying to make all the excuses up for quarterbacks here. I play on the defensive side of the ball, could care less. But keeping it 100, it's the only position in football that is predicated off of 10 other guys around you.
True.
You know, if you draft a linebacker in the first round, guess what? Whether you have good interior linemen, whether you have good, it helps if you have good cornerbacks and everything. But, if you're a good linebacker, you're going to be a good linebacker, all right? If they draft an edge in the first round, if you have skills at edge rusher, you'll be a good edge rusher, regardless of what the safeties look like, regardless of what the interior, you're just going to be a good edge rusher. If you're a good quarterback, yeah, okay, but you better have some wide receivers. You better have that offensive line. A running game is going to help. A coach is going to help. Play calling is going to help. A lot more things go into being a great quarterback than being a great linebacker or edge rusher or running back, for that matter.
Well, it was Jim Harbaugh at the owners' meetings actually had, I don't know if you ever saw that soundbite that he had. He was talking about why the offensive line is so important.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
And he said the very thing that you said. He said offensive line is actually the only position on the field that doesn't have to rely on anybody else to be good. And it's great point.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's if they're good, they're good. But if they're not good, the quarterback suffers, the tight end suffers, the running back suffers, the receivers suffer. Heck, your defense suffers.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it was a quote that kind of got going around the circles, and it's well, that does make a lot of sense why people invest, why Harbaugh in his career has always invested. You don't need the domino effect. You're absolutely right about quarterback. Mm-hmm. They need them all to be good. They need them. Whose fault was it this year? Was it Calvin Ridley not being on the same page? Parker Washington being a new guy? Or was it the offensive line not being able to block? Or was it the offensive line not being able to block the run game that impacted the Jaguars in general on offense? That speaks volumes. You don't really know. It's one answer. But on offensive line, you can simply say, we were good or not.
True. No, that's a good point.
We either block people or we don't.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
So I do like that. Here's a couple other ones, because I think this is some fascinating stuff. In general, quarterbacks are given less time to develop nowadays. What used to be a window of 3 or 4 seasons to assess their progress now been shortened to no more than 2 seasons. Each situation is a unique one. I think the time frame for evaluating these quarterbacks has been accelerated significantly. I also think despite these players maybe not showing that they're ready to be the franchise quarterback, they still have trade value because their contracts are right in line with good backups. And that's why you're seeing the Mack and Justin Fields stuff, perhaps. All right, one more. An AFC executive says this. There's much more emphasis needed on development, but organizations take chances because they know their contract life often depends on the position. Also, coaches no longer have the luxury of grace periods. They're expected to win immediately, so they're under pressure to find the right quarterback quickly. Coaches used to have 4 years regardless, but now they only have 2 or 3, and they sometimes seek another quarterback to try to extend their own job security. And I think this might have been the case in Chicago as well, right?
Yeah.
That kind of goes along with those lines. And I would agree. So if all these executives are saying this, does ownership need to listen more and say, we're not setting up the quarterback for success because of a lot of these parameters. There's too much pressure from the outside noise to win right now. We got to go and transparently say to our fan base, this is a 4-year project. Like, this is a 4-year this.
Yeah.
We got to get the best out of this guy. We've got to let him come up at the right path. A la Pat, and you can use these examples now, Austin.
I know.
Like, you can use examples of that will get a fan base engaged and be like, okay, I can buy into that.
No, I mean, listen, I get where you're coming from, Brent, Mr. Sunshine and Rainbows, if you will. But in the real world, Stroud comes in for Houston, makes the biggest difference ever. Took 1 year to turn around. Other teams see that and say, all right, well, we can do that too. I have a hard time believing there's going to be an owner out there, there'll be a fan base out there, there'll be a GM out there that says, you know what, let's just slowly ease ourselves into it. Nah, not how it works. I'm not saying it's right, not saying it's wrong, I'm not saying that's just the way it is, all right? So at the end of the day, it's a performance-based business. You essentially got 1 or 2 years to make things work, and if you don't, well then, here comes the hot seat. So I definitely understand it. I get the philosophy. But then I look at teams that can do it in a year, and it's like, well, why can't you do that? Like, if I'm an owner who, is going through a season where it's like, all right, we're rebuilding, fine. I point to the Texans and say, well, how come you can't do what they do? What's the excuse? What's going on, guys?
Okay, I think that's fair, by the way.
Okay.
Let's leave Houston out for a second.
Okay.
I'm going to run through these teams real fast. And you tell me if they did it in a year. Buffalo. No, it took some growth and development and patience. They were very patient with him.
With Josh Allen?
Yes,
okay.
Very, very. Go look at year 1. People want to give up on him. That's where Jalen Ramsey called him trash.
Didn't year 2, though, kind of turn around?
Okay, but that's year 2. I'm just saying immediately, because here's what I want to do this for a quick second.
Okay.
If I were to say, like, you show me C.J. Stroud,
sure,
but I show you the best quarterback in the game right now is Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes, yeah.
And they sat him. Why wouldn't everybody say it's a copycat league? If it's a copycat league, why wouldn't everybody say that they know that Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and this Kansas City stuff, they've been doing it the right way? Mahomes is the best guy in the game.
Okay.
He sat.
Okay.
Why wouldn't I sit my guy and learn from that? Why wouldn't that be the trend?
Because some guys have had success by not sitting.
I get it. But the guy that's had the most success sat.
But then that's like saying, like, okay, but I think people understand that no one's going to be Patrick Mahomes. Like, Patrick Mahomes is a unicorn.
Well, he is. I mean, might be, or might just been he had the benefit. I mean, we're watching a Jordan Love come in now, and when he gets his opportunity, I'm not suggesting, by the way, you should sit for 3 years.
Sure.
But he did sit, right? So, listen, the Bills, it took a while, but they were patient. Year 1 was not it.
Mm-hmm.
The Dolphins, I mean, that wasn't year 1.
Yeah.
The Jets, obviously not. The Patriots actually got a lot out of Mac, but it wasn't like everybody's going to crown him like MVP candidate. They were built well around. I think Lamar Jackson, when he came in, actually in that second part of that first year, I think did really well.
Yeah.
I think it was a nice showing. It was like, oh, we got something here. The Browns are in a different animal here, I think.
Sure.
The Steelers as well. They're not in the same boat.
Okay.
Burrow is interesting because Burrow showed some really good signs and then got hurt. Like 6 games in or whatever it was.
Yeah, started right away.
But really showed some good signs by starting right away. And you knew like he was going to be the guy.
I mean, he had pieces, but still did his thing.
Obviously, Mahomes sat. The Raiders don't factor here. The Broncos don't factor here. Herbert's interesting to your point, to help you with your point.
Yeah.
They didn't plan to do it. They planned to do it the way Mahomes did it.
Yeah.
But then he had to get shoved in there, and he actually did it.
Yep.
So he goes under the Stroud category.
Yep.
I would think like Stroud
Russell
and Lamar
Wilson.
Jackson. Yeah, Russell Wilson could be that.
Dak Prescott.
Did Prescott go in right away?
Yep. Tony Romo got hurt in training camp.
But was my question was Dak Prescott good right away in year 1?
Oh, I'm pretty sure he was. Wasn't he legit?
right out of the gates?
Let me look up the numbers quick.
I mean, he's a fourth-round guy, so the expectation level was low.
Yeah,
but was he like?
But even harder though, right? Like you trust your team to a fourth-round quarterback, and here I'll bring up the stats.
Well, they ended up making him the guy. They made that decision, right? They chose over Tony Romo. Jalen Hurts, he didn't play right away, did he?
No, because that was the whole thing with the Doug Peterson stuff, right? Because they had Hurts, but they didn't.
Yeah, Doug was still there. You're right.
Dak Prescott, his first year, 16 games, went 13-3, 3,667 yards passing, 23 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
I'd say that was a pretty good year.
Not bad. I think he kind of turned around. I didn't want to say turn around because the Cowboys were good before that, but obviously he did his thing.
So Fields obviously doesn't. The Lions are in a different. Not everybody's in this situation, obviously, that we're talking about with a young quarterback coming in. But Bryce Young would have been way better sitting.
Sure,
way better. You run the risk of losing that guy. Like, don't we wonder if he's ever going to bounce back from that year?
Yes, absolutely.
So I guess it's a 50-50 thing. I don't know if it's exactly 50-50, but we got enough examples to say, yeah, it's a good. We got enough examples to say, yeah, I would sit him like Patrick Mahomes.
Listen, I've been very adamant how I feel about it. I think if you have, Dak Prescott, was he successful because the team around him? Absolutely. Okay? I'm trying to think of other quarterbacks that came in right away.
Well, I've always said this about, Brady was year 2, but Russell Wilson, like you're saying.
Wilson.
That was, his team was good.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right? Now, Houston is a different example because they weren't necessarily we didn't think they were good. He really elevated them.
True.
I think Stroud's a super outlier here.
Yeah.
To go get a team that picked second and third in the draft, and then to do what they just did is an outlier.
Yeah. I think overall, listen, if I take you in the first round high, and I need you to come in and perform. And it's the way that it's got to be. Now, if you have a suitable backup quarterback, a la an Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes, then sure, let Alex Smith take the reins because Alex Smith in his own right was a great quarterback, right? So it all depends on situation. If you have the guy to lead your team and let the other guys sit, cool. If you have Aaron Rodgers, then let Jordan Love sit behind him. If you had Brett Favre, then let Aaron Rodgers sit behind Brett Favre. Oh, it is what it is. But some teams don't have that luxury, Brent.
Yeah, and I get it. I just think then you patience and you better have the right makeup and you better be able to be tough enough and you're not shake your confidence. You can't do what happened to Blaine Gabbert. You can't be shoved in there and then not be able to recover.
But once again, you can't fire David Garrard like you did, let him go, and then all of a sudden, hey, Blaine, a couple weeks later, it's your team.
That's right. The Jag messed that up, right?
Yeah, that was the issue because that was the issue from the defensive standpoint. That was the issue of the offensive standpoint in the locker room. We thought Dave was going to be the guy. We went to the luncheon announcing Dave as our starting quarterback, and then you fire him right after the luncheon. That's going to throw any team for a little bit of a loop, especially the guy that you draft in the first round that's supposed to eventually be the predecessor to David Garrard.
Yeah, because they went with McCown early.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously within 2-3 weeks, or I think it was the Jets game where he threw 3 or 4 picks.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll give you an example of a team that might be doing it the way or looking at the way the Chiefs have done it, and maybe this is what they're doing. The Raiders. So if the Raiders go get there are a lot of projections that have them getting Bo Nix.
Yeah.
For example.
Okay.
So if they go get Bo Nix, they just gave Minshew $15 million guaranteed, 2-year deal, $25 million. I feel like this is going to be Minshew's team this year with a Bo Nix learning curve.
Yep.
Very much again, Alex Smith was on a different level probably than Gardner Minshew. But remember, when Alex Smith got over to Kansas City, it's not like people were drooling over Alex Smith. I mean, he had gone through 7 different coordinators in 7 years or something, and he hadn't been playing well in San Fran either.
True, but he always had the moniker of the game manager.
Yeah.
But he still did win some games.
But Gardner will do that and can't do that. So I think they're trying to duplicate or replicate that scenario.
Sure.
I think the Bears are trying to replicate the Houston scenario. Let's go get weapons. Let's hit. Now, again, Houston did it different. They hit on a lot of draft picks.
Correct.
They got risky in the draft. They even moved up on the defensive side of the ball, and then they hit their receivers. Chicago's doing it more with proven players.
Correct.
And I think Chicago, by the way, is doing it right this time.
Well, and we'll keep in mind, too, that the draft's still there for Chicago if they want to get another wide receiver as well.
And they're at number 9. So, they can certainly do that. Let's take a break. Brent and Austen show. We've got, the noon hour approaches, and Place is filling up here at Strings Sports Brewery. It's busy for lunch. I wonder if any of these guys want to take us on in the free throw shooting contest. We'll shoot some free throws. You make 10 out of 10, you put your name in the hat anytime between now and next Friday to come back on Saturday for the Final Four and take a chance at a 65-inch TV. Our baseball predictions, there they are, and we're off and running in the Major League Baseball season. A lot of ball today, including here in Jacksonville, as the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp open the season.
In Northeast Florida, we love hanging out on the back patio, maybe grilling out lunch or dinner with the family, enjoying the good weather, or maybe enjoying the big game on the TV. Or maybe your favorite team in town, the Action Sports Jacks team. This is great, except for when it's really hot or the bugs start coming out. But what if you didn't have to worry about that? Titan Outdoor Solutions will make your outdoor area a comfortable spot, any time of the day, any time of the year. This makes too much sense. Titan Outdoor Solutions can give your home an upgrade. Customized pergolas, awnings, controlled shade, even retractable screens. The solution to beating the heat and the bugs and getting more use out of your home is Titan Outdoor Solutions. And this can even help prevent storm damage at your home. Living in Florida and living in your home is already good. Now make it great. Quality products, custom work, locally owned and operated. Visit TitanShuttersAndScreens.com or call 904-484-7580. It's a new logo, new branding, but with Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. And with that comes the perks we miss in the big business world. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who's coming to your house. You know they will be well trained and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at BoldCityAC.com. The folks at Bold City Heating and Air also know your AC unit is important and can be a big expense. That's why they have financing to help. No payments, no interest for 12 months on new systems. $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at BoldCityAC.com. Homegrown in your hometown. Bold City Heating and Air.
I've been forecasting the weather for a long time, and no matter where I go, I always get asked the same question.
Hey Mike, what's the weather gonna be like?
Hey Mike.
Hey Mike.
Mike, hey, what's the weather gonna be like?
I don't mind being asked because I always have the answer. Great day for a perfect round of golf. Hey, little rain later today. So go ahead, ask me.
Hey Mike, I'm heading out. What's the weather like tonight?
It's the same question, even at home.
Mike Burrish, he's got your weather answer on Action News Jacks.
The friendliest golf course in town, the Golf Club at Southampton. Local golfers have no shortage of options when it comes to picking a course to play here in Northeast Florida year-round. Yet time and time again, I find myself here at the Golf Club at Southampton. Easy to get to off 210 in St. Johns County. It's family-owned and operated and renowned for being one of the area's most player-friendly. That's just one of the reasons we hold the Action Sports Jacks Dream 18 charity golf tournament here each fall. The Mark McCumber design layout is great for all skill levels of golfers, from the guys who bomb it a mile on the range to golfers like me who are just happy to put it in the fairway, which Southampton has very accommodating fairways. And if you need new clubs, come down to the pro shop. They'll fit you up and get you a nice new set, like they did for me. For more information on membership or to book a tee time and see for yourself, head over to golfsouthampton.com or call the clubhouse at 904-287-7529. The Golf Club at Southampton. It's the official home of the Action Sports Jacks Dream 18. Make it your home for golf too. When you think sports, you think Action Sports Jacks, the official station of the Jaguars, on location for every game. But the most experienced team in town doesn't stop there. From high school football to the big events in the area, Action Sports Jacks is always on. Now, we take that to a new level. Action Sports Jacks 24/7 is around-the-clock coverage of the teams you love and the moments you can't miss. The best local sports in Jacksonville on Action Sports Jacks 24/7.
Things are heating up, and the UNF baseball and softball teams are warmed up more than a third of the way through their seasons, and both Ospreys teams on the diamond are off to good starts. Recent Pitcher of the Week honors in both sports. Both teams have done well with the home cooking early in their schedule, and the early tests on the road have gone well, too. The A-Sun season is here now. UNF baseball and softball trying to make some noise in conference play. Go watch the Ospreys play. Go to UNFOspreys.com for more information on schedules and tickets, plus keep up with all the sports results and stories. UNFOspreys.com.
When strong storms threaten and your safety is on the line, nothing beats accuracy. Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish and the First Alert Weather Team. Your safest place to be during a storm is Action News Jax.
I'm Action Sports Jax Stuart Weber. Please join me and the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation in Northeast Florida for our annual Take Steps Walk, right here at Memorial Park on April 13th. The event is dedicated to finding cures and raising awareness for digestive diseases. Join us by registering now at actionnewsjax.com.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Hey, welcome back to Strings Sports Brewery here in Springfield. Which one would you try? The Triple Crown? Cinderella Story? Hazy Hurley? You're not a beer guy right now. You can't be.
Can't be a beer guy right now.
Will you be like down the road a beer guy, or are you going to be like more of a mixed drink guy? Or are you a wine
Brent,
connoisseur, or what?
Brent, as someone who has the Miller High Life girl tattooed on his back, I think I'm a beer guy. What are you talking about?
I don't know, man. You football players, you always it feels like you turn your wine guys.
Hey, man, we hung out together in Atlanta and had a couple barley pops.
Yeah, I get it.
I wasn't drinking wine.
I didn't say you couldn't drink.
And listen, don't put me. What's that one dude that's like the big wine guy that's always on Twitter? Played for the Jaguars. Safety.
Safety.
The wine
Jags.
guy. I think he's a safety. Corner.
Will Blackman.
Yeah, thank you, Will Blackman,
who's now an assistant coach, I think, at Boston College.
Okay, but also I feel like has like his own
he has like his own line or something. Yeah.
Yeah, man. No, never. I've had like one glass of wine. Like I actually drank the whole thing. Never again, man. I'm not built like that. I'm not classy like that.
I've always found that to be interesting. Go ahead.
I was saying, speaking of, DeSantis actually just signed a bill yesterday to allow bigger wine bottles to be sold.
Oh, that's interesting. That's an interesting one.
Welcome to Florida.
How big are we talking?
I don't know, but they're ginormous. I think they're more so for like weddings and stuff.
What?
Okay. Speaking of those kind of events, wedding rehearsal dinners or corporate events or birthdays, this is a place to be. Strings Sports Brewery. I'm impressed with how many people are in here right around lunchtime, but it's a great spot to be in lunch. I keep telling everybody, man, the food is awesome. And then you can't, it's what I usually do is I'll go pick 3 25-ounce beer cans.
And
they'll put it in a little pack, bring those home for the weekend. Not a bad way to go either.
Well, and hey, let's not get it twisted here, Brent. For all you wine lovers out there, not like myself, but they also have wines here as well.
They do.
Some Pinot Grigos here. So,
yeah, he's definitely not a wine guy.
Gabonino,
and I like that about him.
Gabonino Pinot Grigo. Make it happen, man. Good stuff.
Oh my goodness! Did you guys see the email that I sent you about the number one names like for babies in Florida?
Was that this morning?
I don't know. You can see it.
I mean, I don't know, man. I have 100,000 read on the email.
How many?
So. Oh, right now you can be proud of me, man. We are 2 in the unread email category. Let me go to the inbox. We are at 113,970.
Wow, that's a big number. My OCD cannot handle that.
I know you can, man.
Left on red for sure.
You know me, I just put in cruise control.
Hey, so if you're having a baby,
okay.
I don't know who is, but there's a really good chance that apparently you're going to name, if it's a baby boy, Liam.
Okay.
And if it's a baby girl, Olivia. Like with an O.
Olivia. Okay, well, then Olivia Tassie's fine then.
Yeah. I mean, Olivia, I'm sure you can spell it a bunch of different ways, but they have the spelling here as O.
Okay.
So that's the public records of baby names. Noah, Lucas, Elijah, Oliver, Dylan. Mateo made the top 10.
I mean, is this more on a Is this from the U.S. or just?
This is Florida.
Oh, okay. Oh, Florida. Okay.
Here you
Florida.
go.
Interesting, Mateo. Okay.
Benjamin, Sebastian, Michael.
All right, Brent. Any of these names you're throwing out here?
Like losing them?
Yeah, like you're not a fan.
Yeah,
I gotta be
Sebastian
very
can
careful
go.
here. Sebastian. So that's a popular. That's wild.
Wasn't Sebastian the crab from Little Mermaid?
Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, get him out of here.
So on the girls' side, Olivia, Isabella, Emma, Sophia, Mia, Amelia, Charlotte, Ava. What's that other one?
Luna?
And Sophia.
I like Luna.
So those are the girls' names. You know what? The only name on here that probably stands the test of time, because if you did this like 20 years ago and 40 years ago, whatever, it appears as Michael.
Yeah.
People still name their
Michael.
kid Mike.
I mean, hey, Michael Jordan's a big influence. Where's Larry at? Don't
And
see him.
Noah.
I'm starting to see it.
It's definitely
So,
a lot.
quick story with baby names. So, I ended up picking Ronan because I was supposed to be named Ronan, and then my dad said absolutely not. So, in honor of my mom, I named my son Ronan.
Okay.
I kind of stick to my dad a little bit. If I was gonna have a girl, we established that her name was gonna be Remy.
Oh.
What I didn't tell my wife at the time was that I got Remy from Remy LeBeau, who was my favorite X-Men from X-Men. He was Gambit. So didn't tell my wife that. Didn't have a boy, so didn't have a girl, so we're all good. Well, at the time, my wife's sister had a daughter and said, "Hey, I really like Remy. Let me go ahead and name my daughter Remy." So she offered my advice. Haven't had the heart to tell her, though, that I got the idea from Gambit from X-Men.
You haven't told your sister?
No, I haven't told my sister-in-law, whatever you want to call her. Yeah, she has no idea, and she'll probably never know. She's not watching the show. Sorry, Brent. Hey, we lost one. But nevertheless, yeah, man, and every time, I hear that name, I'm like, I kind of giggle to myself because, you have no idea how I came up with that name. Because, it's kind of unique,
Yeah.
Remy.
It doesn't matter how you came up with the name anyway, if you like it.
Yeah, I'm going to start calling her Gambit.
I always think this is interesting, though. Like, the baby names are a thing, man.
Yeah.
People are doing them for a lot of different reasons. Mine were, out of nowhere. Like, ours were just out of nowhere. We're like, hey, that sounds good.
No, it works well, Ty and Kaylee. I was going to ask for you with Brent. Pretty common, but, is it short for something or not?
No.
Just Brent. Okay.
Yeah, just Brent.
Okay.
Often called Brett.
Yeah, for sure.
Like a lot.
Yeah.
Which is fine. That doesn't bother me either. But Brent, like you say, Brent is common. I don't really feel like I'm actually, when I see somebody else named Brent, which it does happen enough. But
yeah.
It's not super uncommon. Mm-hmm. But it's certainly, I don't know if I'd put it in the common.
I'm trying to think where I've heard Brent a couple times though. But yeah.
Yeah, again, there are plenty of Brents out there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of Jason out there too.
I don't even know my Jason.
Literally just, hey, go in the AI and just say most used name ever, Jason. What's up, man? It's good to see you.
I bet you there are more Austins
your
than Jasons. You just got a letter change.
No way.
First of all,
no way.
Not, and second of all, not spelled like my name, sir.
Well, that is true. His spelling is
me and Jane Austen holding it down for everybody.
Jason, what's your middle name? Smith?
Paul.
Mine is the same thing. Paul, you said it's Paul? Seriously?
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, that's pretty common.
Yours too?
No, my middle name was Douglas, man. Come on, I'm not unique.
I thought you just said mine too.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I definitely heard mine too.
I was saying that's pretty common too. No, I'm saying that was common in terms of Paul's a pretty common name as well.
Hey, you just popped up here on the screen, Hamby, and I feel like we haven't done noontime news in forever.
Oh, God.
Have we canceled that segment? Yeah.
I don't know.
We just canceled.
What have we done with it?
Well, I think we've been on the road a lot. It was a lot like Players' Championship. We've had a lot going on, from the sausage dudes to being out the best bet, to Disney on Ice yesterday, to being here, and trying to get Foye Oluokun on. Maybe we get him.
Daily.
Basically you're getting bumped. You're like bumped. It's the segment week. Yeah, you build newscasts. We call this killing something in news, right? Killing a segment, killing a story.
Oh, is that what you call it?
Yeah, so basically you're getting killed every day.
No, I'm pretty satisfied with my FaceTime recently.
Yeah, well, you're in control of the damn
Georgia
thing.
Bulldogs. We get it.
I mean, you can put your face on anytime you want.
Your fingerprints all over the show. When also we have random music playing in our ears, or we don't go to the correct bumping time. Like, yeah, man, you're all over the show. Congratulations.
What was your takeaway on Major League Baseball opening day? Because you're Braves, you can't homer up.
Yeah, we got we'll play at 3 today, and it just doesn't get any better. The fact that if you take the last 10 years, the Braves have played more opening days at Citizens Bank Park in Philly than we have at our own home ballpark. So please explain that to me.
Really?
3 over there, 2 since we got to Truist. Anyway. To recap really quickly, it started with the Orioles' great celebration, and Burns lights out, and it looks like he's going to continue exactly what he did with the Brewers these last couple years, and the Brewers are obviously going to miss him greatly.
You think?
But they look good.
Just trying to say it. Keep going. Sorry.
In other news, the Colorado Rockies have been eliminated from playoff contention.
I was thinking about the Rockies, right? Like, you give up 16 runs and 18 hits, right? You give up a 14-run third inning. And I'm like, what do you say as the manager on game 1 of 162? Right? Like, what do you say? You're
There's always tomorrow.
Hey, guys, don't worry about it. Flush it, right?
Yeah.
Or, hey, listen, do you get mad? Like, what are we doing here? Like, that's a weird spot to be in. It's one game.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter if you lost 5-3 or really, in the grand scheme of things, 16 to whatever they lost. But
sure.
But I wondered what he said after, because that's frustrating. If you're 3 innings in and you're down 16-2 or nothing or whatever it was,
yeah, like,
you already know you're not going to be that good. Well, I mean, you can lose the team pretty early.
No, for sure. And they're not supposed to be a good team this year anyways. But, what do you think? Do you think they're throwing coolers and stuff? Or it's just like, all right, well, that was your one-off, so let's see a better performance tomorrow?
I definitely don't think they're throwing coolers. Okay. What would 14U manager, head coach Jason Hamby do at the start of the summer if you lost game 1 and you gave up 2 runs in the first, 14 in the third?
Oof. The good thing about us is normally we have a game 15 minutes later in the day. So it's, hey, guys, go run to the snack line, get you a hot dog, and come back, and let's start attacking and get ahead of this thing.
Oh, you're going to let them eat? I don't let them eat.
Yeah.
Winners eat.
That is actually a good part about that travel ball schedule. You just go right back out there. They wish they had a doubleheader yesterday in Colorado.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I'm going to say you guys are eating until you win. You feel that hunger in yourselves?
You're going to pull a, what's the Arizona Cardinals head coach?
Now or before?
Gannon? Is it Gannon?
Gannon? Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have seen that clip on Gannon. His first meeting with them last year. Who rode the bus over here? Who drove over here? Who's got that fire in their gut? Who's got that hunger?
Who's got that fire in their gut? I like it.
Oh, man. It's so elementary, some of that stuff, even at the professional level. What else you got? What takeaway from opening day in the big league season? Which, by the way, guys, I feel like I've come up with something for our 3 teams. Austin's a Brewers fan. Red Sox guy. Our win total is 77.5 for both of our clubs. Not good. Atlanta's is 101.5, I think can be said, and he's a Braves fan. Mm-hmm. So what we were talking about is, like, how do we get handicapped?
Because we need it, Brent.
We're not going to beat the Braves, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we're not that's a big gap. But so we thought is, how about we take those win totals, and if you go over it or under it, you determine who wins. So
that's fair.
Like, I think we've got to lower Hamby's to like 100. 101's a lot. But if we do it at 100 and they end up with 104, they're +4.
Sure.
If we end up with 84 wins, we might be +6 or 7 or however we round up to. And so we would win.
Yes.
But so then what's on the line is what Hamby keeps saying.
Yeah.
Well, I got something.
Okay.
Uh-oh. The 2 losers have to do the show like the Brewers sausage race guys. We got to go get the costumes.
Well, you can actually rent those.
Can you?
Yes, because I've been in one of them before.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. There it is.
The whole show?
Fun. Oh, the whole show.
Spoiler alert, It's so hot in those things. I'm just letting you know.
Well, don't lose.
Okay.
Go Brewers.
Yeah, it was literally so back home at one of our I don't know 100 bars in town that we have. There was a bachelor party, and they rented the sausages for the bachelor party. And the guy was just like, "Hey, it's too hot. You want to wear it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want to wear it." So I was trees though. And then he has like the big sombrero. Yeah. He's definitely the most top heavy one out of all of them because that sombrero weighs like 50 pounds. But
yeah. Was that heavy?
It's super heavy.
Not that heavy,
no,
but it was heavy.
Really, really heavy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So there you go. You like that, Hamby?
Yeah, I'm in. I mean, it's going to be awesome to watch you guys do a whole show, and we might have to put you outside and maybe, let's see, if that's probably like October 1st or 2nd, it won't be too hot for you guys, hopefully, but maybe we can do an outdoor.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I never know that time of year, but true. But maybe we got to do the show like remotely here at Strings, or we got to do the show like maybe we have a little party as well, or Sausage Dudes comes out. I mean, so we got the theme going.
Well, if you want to get the Brewers ones, it's $300 per sausage. Just let you know.
Well, hey, it's expensive to lose this bet.
Can we expense this? Can the TV station cover this?
Yeah,
okay.
Probably. We'll figure that out.
Cool.
I got one more thing for you guys.
We can definitely figure it out. What you got?
And I mean, we've probably mentioned it before, but hey, Major League Baseball. You've only had 6 months to prepare for opening day. It's the biggest day of 2024. Let's get it on national TV. Maybe? Hey, we got
He's not wrong,
eight games in 5 hours of baseball before the first one gets put on national TV. You build all this
hype.
Where
was it? What was the national TV? MLB Network?
ESPN, 7:30, Cubs, Rangers.
Okay.
That was the first one.
I wonder why that is. I'm curious to see if they stayed away from those afternoon games because of what happened yesterday, like the weather. None of those were scheduled, by the way. There wasn't a 1 o'clock scheduled, like the Mets game or the Braves game. Do you know that?
So I think the Braves were always going to be at 3. So I think they might have been on.
Was supposed to be at 1-ish. The Mets Brewers.
Yeah, so I don't know if they maybe had that and then they had to cancel it, or maybe they stay away from that because they know those games, especially early in the year, could get canceled by it. I'm trying to think of what else was going on. Like, there's really nothing else going on, so it doesn't make some sense. This might simply be they don't want to give those games up like the home networks like SNY in New York or like a Nesson in Boston, right? Like they're like, it's opening day. We want to celebrate it. It's ours. Like, why are you going to give it up to the network?
But then you wonder why. Baseball's fine, but grow it then. Put it on the national television circuit.
Yeah, it's like 3 o'clock, and everybody's been anticipating all day, and it's like, all right, here we go. All the hype videos are out. Everybody's ready to go. And then you got to feel like, obviously, like me, I have the subscription. Let's think about all of the fringe 50% of baseball fans who would love to tune in, and then they literally have nowhere to go.
Yeah. Listen, Duval TV saying he's not a big baseball fan, I can tell. It's like staring at a wall hoping something happens. Well, hey, those are some good days sometimes, I mean, staring at a wall and hoping something happens. But anyway, what I'd love to know about from a guy like Duval TV or a gal or whatever is, what do they watch outside of football? Because, obviously football, everybody gets it, right? But what isn't like looking at a wall? Because I understand it. I mean, baseball's not for everybody. I think we get that. I think like we were talking about hockey the other day, it's not for everybody. Golf, not for everybody. Your sport, MMA, it's not for everybody.
Sure.
There's football is like one right now in our world that's for everybody. Baseball used to be for everybody, like way back in the day, and those things change. But I'm always curious about people that really don't like baseball. We get some of those guys I can't stand baseball. It's okay, that's fine. Thanks for telling us. You don't have to watch it.
Yeah.
But what else are you watching then?
True. But also I think baseball, Brent, listen, I watch baseball because of the Brewers, right? I'll watch every Brewer game that I can. But I'm not necessarily watching the game of the week or the game of the night.
I get it.
In NBA, hockey, obviously football, I can do that.
You do that?
I feel like a lot of people may not watch the game of the night. They're more just tied to maybe their allegiance of their favorite baseball team.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of seriously, if you're honest with yourself, and Hamby, you're at a different level. When I was a kid, I'm like my kid now. If there was ping pong on, I'd watch it. Ties like that. If there's soccer, if it's volleyball, if it's this, it's that. I'm not saying he'll lock in, but he'll take a look at everything that's going on. There's obviously a ton of places to get games. I really am not like that anymore. I mean, I don't even have to watch the Thursday night football game the way other people have to watch it. Like, I see a lot of sports. So I'm like, I've got my sports fix. But I also am a different animal when it comes to that. I do this for a living, so I don't think everybody is along those lines. If you were sitting at home right now, what would you hope to see or stop on because there's not a lot on TV right now, other than us. If you're watching on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network,
there it is, Brent, let them know.
Stop and watch it until 1 o'clock. But if you're like, I would stop and watch baseball. I'd peek in on the golf, but I wouldn't be locked in on the golf. I'd probably keep it on for a few minutes, if I'm being honest, see if I get roped in by whatever's going on. I would probably not stop at hockey or NBA for too long. Again, unless I see something that's got my attention like pretty quickly. Football we would, but not like any football. Like, I'm not going to watch a replay of a game from 3 years ago. I think there are a lot of people that love doing that. That ain't it. I got something better to do with my 2 hours.
Put those old school Jaguars playoff games on the TV, man, when you have a COVID year.
But you know what I find myself like sometimes on a Friday night after the Blitz and our high school night? At 12:30 at night, I'll come watch a college football game that I don't give a damn about. Like, it'll be some like Mountain West game, but it'll rope me in a little bit. I think college basketball has a little bit of that to me, too. So if I'm being honest, it's like, sure, the NFL, everybody's watching. But I can get roped into a little bit of a baseball game or even a college baseball game for that matter. I think college basketball I can land on. Most likely not the NBA, though. College football, definitely. But it doesn't have to be the biggest game in college football. Sometimes I really like watching those other levels of play.
Yep.
It's got to be a decent level of play, but some levels of play. And I would say that's golf. I mentioned golf, but I'm not stopping on NASCAR very often, if I'm being honest, unless I feel like I need to watch it for something we're going to talk about. That's about it. But you just said you go NBA and NHL if there's a big game on. It doesn't have to be Detroit or or the Bucks.
Yeah.
Hamby, you sound like you're a baseball guy. You're probably not going to land on golf very much. I don't think you're landing on the NBA or NHL. You didn't even know the sport existed yesterday. So, I mean, is it just like NFL, college football, and Major League Baseball?
Yeah, and I think golf on a weekend would start to get thrown in there now. But that's a reach. To be honest with you, I don't my TV is never on unless I'm intentionally putting it on for a specific game. Like, other than that, I don't watch shows. Sometimes I watch movies, but I don't watch shows. I don't surf, the channels and just see what's on. Like, if I'm turning my TV on, it's because there's a game I want to watch, or I'm pretty much out of the house or doing something else.
Thanks for killing our industry.
Yeah, man, I was going to say.
Good. I mean, very nice.
Yeah, I mean, I could just tell the truth and say I watched, the Food Network and Iron Chef, but I wasn't going to do that.
Yeah, so you like that too, though, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm a junkie for some Beat Bobby Flay. Yeah, man.
Yeah. It's just interesting.
I suck at cooking.
I think that's fascinating. Like, right here, they've got like McAfee shows on. You can listen to our show right now. There's golf on. I can't see some of the other TVs, but I really don't know what else would be on at this time of day other than golf and some of the sports shows.
Price is Right, Brent.
But I meant from a sports standpoint.
Oh, sorry.
And I would wonder, where would people's eyes take them to? That. Again, I'm not stopping to watch soccer, but a lot of people would stop and watch soccer and other sports. Duval TV says, watching local media speculate on free agency and looking forward to the draft. Well, there you go.
Hey, man. That's why we're here for you.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
And that's why we got to take a break as well. Let's do that. Oh, actually, let's make sure. I think we can get Foye Oluokun in, Hamby, right now. I think we just got a text. So, let's see if we can get that settled up. We won't even take a break. We'll hang here at Strings Sports Brewery. And you let me know if you want to take yourself off and figure that out when we're ready to go.
Let's take a break if we can, and then we'll come back with it.
All right. We might have to interrupt our break then, because I think he's got a certain amount of time from the way it sounds like. So, you rather want to take a break?
Yeah, it looks like he's having an issue that we'll have to take care of.
Okay, let's take a break. We'll do that then, and we'll get Foye Oluokun in on the other side. This happening right now. String Sports Brewery, the place to be. Place is popping here on a Friday, and heading into a fantastic weekend in Jacksonville. We hope to have Foye Oluokun just signed to an extension with us on the Brent and Austen Show on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Coming up right after this.
Alive Credit Union cares about our community. After all, it was founded by people in our community 70 years ago by a group of Florida Blue employees. And the mission still is to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. In here, they are more than just a bank. You can find Alive in the community providing financial education to our youth, sharing programs that are geared toward building credit and rebuilding credit, and supporting causes with amazing organizations like the American Lung Association. In March, Alive Credit Union was back for the sixth time as a sponsor of the American Lung Association's Fight for Air Climb. The event was over the weekend downtown. It was a good turnout with everyone taking steps for a good cause. And Action News Jax's Garrett Biedenbaugh emceed it. Be a part of our community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop. Everyone loves a good game night. Here you don't have to be the host. You don't have to clean up. They bring the food and drinks to you, and you can watch whatever you want on the big screens. It's more than a card room. It's a night full of fun with friends. Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now the newest location here in St. Augustine, right off 95 at exit 311. A brand new clean room, a full bar and menu, my favorite sushi in town. And I love the fries too. You don't have to just play poker at Best Bet. That's why I come over here to the table games and play one card poker. That's a pretty good card and a win. One card poker is like war as a kid, you against the dealer. And this isn't the only fun table game to play. A friendly staff, a lot of fun. It's a good night out at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and the newest location in St. Augustine. For a novice, it doesn't matter. If winning equals fun, you're a winner every time at Best Bet. I'll save you a seat, and I'll see you down here at Best Bet St. Augustine.
Navigating to that perfect car can be a daunting task. Trust me, I understand, but if you want to find the perfect blend of sales and service for your automotive needs, look no further than the Tom Bush family of dealerships.
Here at Tom Bush, they do things right. Dating back to 1970, they've been a staple in the community, giving back and keeping everything local. With 4 different brands to choose from, BMW, Mazda, Volkswagen, and many, there's a car for every member of the family, and the customer service is second to none. Looking to add an electric vehicle to your fleet? Tom Bush remains at the forefront of new technology with plenty of staff on hand to walk you through the future of driving and help eligible customers file for that EV tax credit.
Whether you're looking for your future driver's first car or you want to step up to luxury and arrive in style, the Tom Bush family of dealership is the only stop that you need to make.
Stop by the showroom or check out the inventory at tombush.com.
Get outside.
Yeah.
Make friends. Learn life lessons with the First Tee.
Golf is kind of like life in a way.
You can take some stuff you learn on the course and take that and use it in every single day life.
Donate to First Tee's Play Day campaign and everybody wins.
For every $10 you've donated, you're entered to win a free round with a buddy at the stadium course, home of the players, with this guy, Len Matisse. Scan the code on your screen or visit actionnewsjax.com to learn more.
I'm Action News Jax First Alert meteorologist Garrett Beaton. Well, the sun is up and it's going to be a beautiful day.
Sometimes you just need a day to yourself. And Garrett's First Alert forecast makes sure you're ready to go out and enjoy. Garrett and the Action News Jax This Morning team, helping you start your morning right.
Discover how good your water can be with a new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We know that at our home. You can find out as well. Right now, you can save $1,000 or more when you bundle the Connecticut Premier Softener with a Connecticut K5 drinking water system. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? Well, CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions to improve it. The higher your water score, the better your water. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242, cgcwater.com. Financing options are available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Hey, welcome back to Strings Sports Brewery and Brent Martineau, Austen Lane, the Brent and Austin Show. There's a look at the outside area here at Strings in Springfield. We're just a couple of miles away from Everbank Stadium, by the way, and that was a shot that was taken a couple hours ago before we even opened here at Strings Sports Brewery. Now it is hopping and busy on this Friday heading into the weekend. A beautiful day in Jacksonville, a big day in Jacksonville. Unexpected news, perhaps, to get Austin. And let's revisit the biggest topic of the day, and that is Foye Oluokun has signed an extension with the Jacksonville Jaguars. The linebacker who's been so good for the Jags the last couple of seasons, coming over from Atlanta, led the league in tackles a year in Atlanta and then a year in Jacksonville, and was right near the top again this past season. A lot of splash plays this past season as well, with fumble recoveries, a big pick six against the Saints, as many remember. And, well, there he is right now. I think Foye can hear us, and at least we can see him. So let's try to make some contact with the Jacksonville Jaguars linebacker. Congrats on the new deal, Foye.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we can hear you, man, and appreciate you taking a few minutes and getting set up. Obviously, a nice day to be in the building and know you're going to be a Jaguar for a few more years.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in the building for a while, doing some lifts and stuff, but, just knowing I'm coming back with the new staff, new defensive staff, going to keep improving my game as well as, the full defensive game plan and games and stuff. Just excited to see what we're going to do coming up.
Brent Martineau, Austen Lane, former Jags player, sitting right next to me. Foye, way before your time. Now, you got to go back like a decade here. Now he's a UFC fighter. So,
yeah, but I feel old.
Well, that's what we're supposed to do, is make you feel old. You're still young, though, Foye, and playing at a really good level. How did this thing come together? Did you expect it, or was this a little bit unexpected over the last couple of weeks to materialize?
I wouldn't say it was unexpected. I guess it was kind of in the middle there. Just the way the last deal was with this year coming up was, I guess, technically not guaranteed. So my agent and then the front office here have been talking about whether extending me or not. I'm sure it does well for the cap space as well. But then, the linebackers during free agency, they went for whatever they were going for. So there are more negotiations on that part. But really, I just wanted to, play for people who trusted me and respected me. And, I met with Coach Nielsen. Definitely have a lot of confidence being coached by him for myself, where my game can go these next couple of years, and then the defense in general. I just want to be able to be part of a successful team. So it was kind of went hand in hand. I have a lot of trust in the organization right now, and they have a lot of trust in me. So feeling the deal was good.
Boy, anytime that a new defensive coordinator comes in, you can get a little nervous, right? Because sometimes you don't fit in their system. Sometimes they don't see you as part of their future plans. Obviously, Ryan Nielsen is a big fan of you. I'm sure he helped co-sign in terms of you getting a new contract. What does he like from you? What has he seen from you? And how does he envision you going forward now in this new defense?
Yeah, so I actually had a lunch with him probably last week. I basically asked him those same questions. What does he think I need to improve on? It's probably first question I asked, but basically playing his system is going to be a little bit different. He likes to preach linebackers being more aggressive, being more downhill, but making sure that our responsibilities are in front of our face instead of, it's kind of hard to be a downhill linebacker when you have coverage responsibilities behind you. Play action, that's how you get caught up on play actions, or you got to have to second guess yourself, making sure you make the right read because, it's kind of conflicting interests in the play. So I think, with him being a defensive line guy, making sure the defensive line is staying aggressive, we could be aggressive right behind them, and then making sure that our coverage responsibilities are in front of our face. So it's kind of like we hug up on the people if it is a play action, or instead of having to drop too far back, we get to keep going forward. So it's better for linebackers to make more splash plays, more effective plays on the ball. And then like on other things, if we're a robber or something, we can really trust our instincts and diagnose a play. Like if I know, the ball might be going over there this play because I've seen that play on film, I get to actually go over there rather than dropping all the way over here first. It's a lot of things to be excited about. Just talking with him and hearing his passion for the game, and then just what I've learned from the game already. Like I'm ready to be a sponge and learn the new system, but also implement what I know as well.
Foye Oluokun joining us from Jags headquarters on the Brent and Austen Show here on the new Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Appreciate you taking a few minutes on the day you signed this extension for the Jaguars. We actually wondered this. 29 years old, you signed this deal. You've been very good, Foye. And so I don't mean this in a negative way. Are you where you're at as a player when you reach this point of your career? Do you keep getting better and elevating? Is there more room to hit the ceiling? Because quite frankly, if you stayed the same, you'd be fine. Like, it feels like it would be great. You've been excellent, but is there more room to hit a ceiling?
I want to keep improving. I mean, we didn't win last year. I guess we technically had a winning record, but we didn't win as many games as we wanted to. So kind of got to look yourself in the mirror and say, what could I have been better at? And there's no doubt in my mind, especially during that last stretch, we weren't playing our best football. So if I bring what I brought to the table last year to the team again, we're going to have the same result. So every year I want to keep getting better. I want to keep improving. Always get my body right. Played a lot of plays these last couple years, probably my whole career. I haven't really been hurt much, but so keep my body right and then keep my mental right. But being able to make more plays in the ball, being able to play better for the team, win more games is always the goal. Just take the next step. So I want to be the best, linebacker that plays in the game. So every year I want to get better at something. I want to improve what I did last year, then get better at something else. With this new coordinator, I said I have a lot of trust in him, just in terms of where my game can go selfishly, but in terms of what the whole defense can do. And I know if the whole defense is operating well, it allows me to play a little bit more free, a little bit more, lax, and I'll be able to be the better player that I am.
I mean, Foye, just by kind of hearing you talk about this defense, obviously one of your biggest calling cards, I feel like, is the fact that your mentality and your IQ of what you bring to the football field. You always had guys lined up in their proper spots. You're able to always diagnose things. But just by gauging and obviously following Ryan Nielsen's track record a little bit, it's going to be a little bit more of maybe pinning your ears back and being able to have a little more fun, which in retrospect is probably going to get you a couple more stats just because now you can run around and have some more fun as well.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for that. He definitely looked at our film last year and said it seemed like our communication lacked, or people didn't know what they were doing sometimes. And I was like, that's pretty cool to see from you. Not even somebody telling you, just he picked up on that by watching the film. So I think he's going to hold every position accountable for where they're supposed to be on the field. But obviously it won't help if I'm directing things too. But just holding everybody accountable from the jump, and me having trust in them being in the right spots lets me play a lot freer.
Foye, we are going to wrap up in a couple minutes with you, but we watch this stuff and look at this stuff and try to predict this stuff. We can't wait till the draft next. We just got done with free agency. Give me your mindset as a player. Coming off a disappointing finish, obviously you're a big part of this football team. Have you paid attention to all the moves made? Are you starting to put the puzzle pieces in your mind? You mentioned the cap and what your deal does. You know what that could mean for Josh or future signings this offseason. How in tune are you with what this organization is doing week to week to make the football team better?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not in tune with all the pieces. You think that, all you do is you hear, speculation, we're trying to get this guy back and this and that, but they have their own decisions to make. I would love to extend Josh, me personally, but I don't know. I'm not in the front office, so I don't know the bigger picture on things. Early in the offseason, they said they're trying to get Rid back, and then Rid went for a great amount over there in Tennessee. So I'm happy for Rid, but obviously the front office has to make their decisions as well. It might be something I want to get into, but not being in the front office right now, it's hard to know what the grand scheme of things is.
Boy, we're always taught as football players that you play the next play, good, bad, or indifferent. Obviously, that last game in Tennessee didn't go the way you guys wanted. Tennessee kind of enforced the will a little bit, and you guys don't go to the playoffs. As a team collectively, but also just as you as an individual, are you kind of past that, or do you use that last game as a little extra motivation going in through spring ball and then eventually training camp?
I was just sad. It was not a good feeling, and really not the last game. It was the last stretch of games all the way. I remember from the Baltimore game all the way down, the one of the night games, and the Bengals game, and then who we played, the 49ers, and then we played the Tampa, the
Browns,
Tampa Browns.
Tampa,
that's bad. Yeah. That's bad business. And I'm a better player than that. We're a better team than that. That's gonna fuel me for a long time. You can't, just because you start off well, if you're not fixing the things that are wrong right then and there, it's going to come back and bite you in the ass. And unfortunately, we had to learn our lesson the hard way. But as a man and as a player going forward, like, I guess it fuels me. But it's not even not to go through that situation. It's like to make myself better so that I won't have to go through it. I'll never want to be in that situation again. I feel like I owe a lot to the city, to the team, to the coaching staff to not be there again. So, yeah, I'm going to be better for sure. I think everybody's motivated by that, but we have to be better than last year.
All right, man, back in the building, April 15th. NFL just announced that. I know you're out the players. I hope maybe you're playing a little golf. You got a couple more weeks to get a little bit of a break in, take a break before it's back at it.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this part of the offseason for sure, but definitely ready to see all the guys again at the same building. But hopefully everybody got their good time off.
Thanks, man. We appreciate you taking some time with us today. Congratulations again, and look forward to watching you play again this fall.
I appreciate you guys having me on here.
Thanks, man. Foye Oluokun, Jaguars linebacker, signed an extension today with the football team, and that will keep him in Jacksonville for the next 4 years. It's technically a 3-year extension because he had a year left on his deal, so it's the next 4 years here in Jacksonville, and great to visit with Foye. And I think what you just asked him and how he answered that last question once again shows the fan base, much like Doug Peterson earlier this week when he said, I don't think I'll ever forget it. Yeah. This team is fueled a little bit by that, and I think you're going to hear that. I think when we talk to players over these next couple months, how could you not, as a competitor, use that? You don't have to stay there in the past, but you can certainly, put it in your locker, put something on the wall, put something when you're lifting in the weight room, that little extra chip. I think this football team's going to carry it.
No, without a doubt. And great conversation, a few telling things that I'm taking away from it. Foye Oluokun generally seemed excited for this Ryan Nielsen defense, and playing the mic can get kind of lost in the shuffle sometimes, right, Brent? Because I mean, I don't want to say it's a thankless job because you're under the spotlight, but you have to do a lot of things in terms of like stay at home and make sure your gap's taken care of. Based off of what he's talking about here with Ryan Nielsen's defense, and keep in mind it's only a couple sound bites here and there, but it sounds like we're going to see some more blitzing. All right, we're going to see some more, do I dare say exotic stuff, but some more opportunities for Foye to showcase his skill set, because I think a lot in that Caldwell defense last year, it was a lot of just, all right, lining guys up, you're the middle linebacker, stay home, do what you do. I feel like with Nielsen now, it's going to be a lot more flying around, blitzing, exotic looks, things like that, and number one, that's fun to play in, and I would be excited as well. But number two, in terms of if you can execute it right, it's going to be fun to be part of that defense, confusing that offense.
Yeah, that's a good point. Listen, I think Foye, I think I've said this probably multiple times. We've had him on the show here at Strings Sports Brewery before, really, for Jaguars All Access, and I think I've said it to him or to everybody else, one of the most underrated players in the National Football League. I mean, he just is. And a lot of it because what you just said, too. Like, it's just not, like, that tackling stat is not, like, super appreciated. But I think he plays at a high level, and I think it can't be lost that another move that they made has been a very good move and is now an extended move. There's a couple ways to look at this. Like, when you draft a player like Josh, right, he's going to be extended, we think, and you keep him. So you get him for 4 years, 5 years, depending on first round, second round, whatever, and then you extend him, and then you get him for another 3, 4, 5 years in a long career there. I think the Foye Oluokun move is a very interesting one because a lot of times when you get a free agent and you bring him over for pretty big bucks, you get it like Rayshon Jenkins. He plays 3 out of 4 years, and then, okay, it's from salary cap reasons or other reasons we're moving on, we're getting younger. You don't usually see this. You don't get this a lot. But this is like the Jags almost signing Foye to a second contract based off a good move. It wasn't a draft pick, but it was free agency at the right age. Yeah. Still plenty of football left. I mean, this is a really good organizational move, and it has been for the last few years to get Foye Oluokun at the linebacker spot.
No, it's a great decision, obviously. It ended up paying dividends and everything, and I'm sure your Venmo account is going to be happy to see that another Trent bulky deposit going to it.
That's just a fact. I should ask him. We should ask him about Yale's basketball team, too.
What about them?
Well, they're out now, but it must have been a fun run.
Nah, whatever, man. It happens.
we appreciate Foye hanging around and the Jags for helping us out to get Foye Oluokun on this day that he signs an extension.
I just want to ask him a trivia question to see exactly where the IQ's at. Man, he's a very intelligent individual.
He's a very smart guy.
Yeah,
But did you hear what he said? Maybe a front office job down the road.
Oh, yeah.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
He's got his own clothing line. I don't know if the shirt that he had on, the start to finish, was part of his clothing line.
I wanted to ask him about it, but we didn't have enough time to ask those questions.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, good to have Foye on. Congrats to him. And let's do this. Take a time out. We'll put a bow on the show. We're live at Strings Sports Brewery. Fantastic crowd out here for lunch on a Friday, heading into a great weekend. And once again, come on out until next Friday, 10 for 10 in the free throws, and you get put in, the bracket for a TV, 65-inch TV, where you can watch the Action Sports Shacks 24/7 network on Roku, on Apple TV, on Google TV, on more places than I can even name, and that includes ActionNewsJax.com and the Action News Jax app. And it's baseball time at the Jumbo Shrimp. That starts tonight. Some new food possibilities.
Is that an Impossible Dog I see right there?
I think it was.
Yeah, it's possible for me.
Look at that right there.
Ooh, that looks good.
Oh, yeah.
Churros?
We'll see you in the concession line tonight at the baseball grounds.
In Northeast Florida, we love hanging out on the back patio, maybe grilling out lunch or dinner with the family, enjoying the good weather, or maybe enjoying the big game on the TV. Or maybe your favorite team in town, the Action Sports Jacks team. This is great, except for when it's really hot or the bugs start coming out. But what if you didn't have to worry about that? Titan Outdoor Solutions will make your outdoor area a comfortable spot any time of the day, any time of the year. This makes too much sense. Titan Outdoor Solutions can give your home an upgrade. Customized pergolas, awnings, controlled shade, even retractable screens. The solution to beating the heat and the bugs and getting more use out of your home is Titan Outdoor Solutions. And this can even help prevent storm damage at your home. Living in Florida and living in your home is already good. Now make it great. Quality products, custom work, locally owned and operated. Visit TitanShuttersAndScreens.com or call 904-484-7580. It's a new logo, new branding, but with Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. And with that comes the perks we miss in the big business world. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who's coming to your house. You know they will be well trained and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at BoldCityAC.com. The folks at Bold City Heating and Air also know your AC unit is important and can be a big expense. That's why they have financing to help. No payments, no interest for 12 months on new systems. $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at BoldCityAC.com. Homegrown in your hometown. Bold City Heating and Air.
I've been forecasting the weather for a long time, and no matter where I go, I always get asked the same question.
Hey, Mike, what's the weather going to be like?
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Mike, hey, what's the weather going to be like?
I don't mind being asked because I always have the answer. Great day for a perfect round of golf. Hey, a little rain later today. So go ahead, ask me.
Hey, Mike, I'm heading out. What's the weather like tonight?
It's the same question, even at home.
Mike Burrish, he's got your weather answer on Action News Jax.
The friendliest golf course in town, the Golf Club at Southampton. Local golfers have no shortage of options when it comes to picking a course to play here in Northeast Florida year-round. Yet time and time again, I find myself here at the Golf Club at Southampton. Easy to get to off 210 in St. Johns County. It's family-owned and operated and renowned for being one of the area's most player-friendly. That's just one of the reasons we hold the Action Sports Jacks Dream 18 charity golf tournament here each fall. The Mark McCumber design layout is great for all skill levels of golfers, from the guys who bomb it a mile on the range to golfers like me who are just happy to put it in the fairway, which Southampton has very accommodating fairways. And if you need new clubs, come down to the pro shop. They'll fit you up and get you a nice new set, like they did for me. For more information on membership or to book a tee time and see for yourself, head over to golfsouthampton.com or call the clubhouse at 904-287-7529. The Golf Club at Southampton. It's the official home of the Action Sports Jacks Dream 18. Make it your home for golf too. When you think sports, you think Action Sports Jacks, the official station of the Jaguars, on location for every game. But the most experienced team in town doesn't stop there. From high school football to the big events in the area, Action Sports Jacks is always on. Now, we take that to a new level. Action Sports Jacks 24/7 is around-the-clock coverage of the teams you love and the moments you can't miss. The best local sports in Jacksonville on Action Sports Jacks 24/7.
Things are heating up, and the UNF baseball and softball teams are warmed up more than a third of the way through their seasons, and both Ospreys teams on the diamond are off to good starts. Recent Pitcher of the Week honors in both sports. Both teams have done well with the home cooking early in their schedule, and the early tests on the road have gone well, too. The ASUN season is here now. UNF baseball and softball trying to make some noise in conference play. Go watch the Ospreys play. Go to UNFOspreys.com for more information on schedules and tickets. Plus, keep up with all the sports results and stories. UNFOspreys.com.
When strong storms threaten and your safety is on the line, nothing beats accuracy. Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish and the First Alert Weather Team. Your safest place to be during a storm is Action News Jacks.
I'm Action Sports Jack Stuart Weber. Please join me and the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation in Northeast Florida for our annual Take Steps Walk, right here at Memorial Park on April 13th. The event is dedicated to finding cures and raising awareness for digestive diseases. Join us by registering now at actionnewsjacks.com.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
Austen Lane shooting free throws, and he's been 8 out of 10. That's what he can do.
Three times in a row, man. That's what I'm shooting. I'm 80%, I guess.
I just shot some free throws, and I got it going a little bit, but it feels so foreign. I haven't taken a shot.
Give me excuses.
In forever, but I still was able to knock down 4 in a row, and then I missed 4 in a row.
Yeah, I'd say you went about 4 out of 10.
I don't know,
5 out of
10. We're talking I-9 football or something somewhere on there? Is that what one of the messages said, Hamby?
That's where I'm at.
What did that say?
I saw Lane at
an I-9
football game
last year. Told my son, but I didn't bother him.
Oh, dude, come say what's up.
No, bother off.
Come on, man. Come say what's up.
Come on, definitely bother off.
I mean, don't bother me because we're doing it this year again. First game was last week. Don't bother me last week because, and they listen, a lot of people though, so I got to care for what I say. If you're going to make a rule where you can't wear shorts and play football that have pockets in them, make it a little more clear. Because my son might have had pockets in his shorts, and then he can play offense. And don't want to point any fingers. Maybe the coach of the opposing team snitched on him a little bit. I don't know. But I wasn't impressed.
That's been an I-9 rule since I was over there 18 years ago.
That's been an I-9 commandment, huh? It goes back to putting in stone.
I guess that makes sense, right? Because you can grab the pocket instead of the flag.
Brent.
Is that what the rules are in place for?
Yeah, probably, I'm sure.
Did we win the football game?
Kid's going to reach in a pocket and he's going to rip his hand off? Come on.
Are you calling plays?
No, so unfortunately my son got put on a different team, so I'm not calling plays yet.
Yeah,
I'm just helping out.
Yeah.
Well, hey,
it's like he's getting ready to fire the OC already.
Hey, I'm gonna need to see a little. Hey, it's the first game. All right. A lot of improvements can be had, but gotta see some stuff before I start implementing my. They lost by 7. Okay. I don't know what the score was. Lost by 7.
There we go.
But also,
football's fun, man.
Not my proudest moment, but we have this one kid who I call Baby Gronk. And Baby Gronk went up and mossed some kid in the end zone. Literally, mossed him. Stepped over him, Allen Iverson against the Lakers. And I got up out of my seat and I go, that's Baby Gronk right there. And the kid that he mossed was actually hurt. Well, the kid that he mossed was actually on the ground crying. And I was
he probably had some mom yelling at you.
It wasn't the best look for me. But he was fine. He got some grass in his eye or something. The kid's okay.
Meanwhile, last night, I'm just complaining about some umpires, okay?
It happens to the best of them. Hey, is the team looking better? I know you were a little concerned for a bit.
Well, this was softball last night.
Oh, gotcha.
Tough week with softball. We won 1-1 in softball this week. A good game last night. Oakley's a very good team. Lost 4-1. And they might have beat us anyway, but didn't get the when you have those games, Hamby, where it's I didn't think umps were bad yesterday, actually. I don't think they were bad. Some people would disagree, but I don't think they're bad. But when you get a handful of calls, like strike calls, or maybe there's a close play, usually when you have 5 or 6 of them, like it feels like you'll get evened up, like 3-3 or 4-2, maybe something close. Mm-hmm. Last night was one of those nights where it's like all 7 of those kind of calls just felt like it impacted like our side in a pretty close game. Then listen, you got goggles on, right? So maybe they didn't impact as much as you think. and I'm not even just saying they wouldn't have been, like Oakland might have won anyway. They got a great pitching performance, and it was a really good softball game overall. But it was one of those nights. That's what I love about sports, man. Like, I think I get so into it because I think every pitch matters. Like in softball, especially 0-0 a lot, like into the 5th inning. You start changing at bats now, right? Hamby, you know this. Difference between a 2-0 count and a 1-1 count can mean everything. Like what you're going to throw. And
if it happens 2 ABs in a row, you might have to just get rung. You gotta go to bat for your guy who's in the box. Like, I'm not having that. No, taking the bat out of the hands.
I'm on the other side of the fence, man. I'm not supposed to get rung. Like, I gotta contain myself. I thought it was being pretty good overall.
All right, Austin, can we put a bounty out? And I don't want to put this out there over Brent because he might, you know,
careful
the Venmo account depending. But can we put a bounty out that Brent gets tossed out of a game and almost a reward from our end if it ends up happening?
Ooh. Oh, yeah, man. I mean, I got that all day. As long as we get it on camera. Yeah. I can.
Well, he records it, so he would get it.
GoFundMe? Yeah, I mean, I started GoFundMe. Oh, wait, so we have to. I'm not going to pay Brent to get thrown out of a game.
Yeah, I'm not getting
that what we're talking about?
No, okay. The bounty is you guys get the money if I get thrown out of the game.
Yeah, let's do that then, yes. Okay.
It's not, I don't think it's come close to happening. Now, there was a time or two they like look at me about saying stuff. But I think actually, like, the umps are really cool. Like, they don't mind conversation. They don't even mind being criticized. Yeah. You can't degrade. Like, you can't just, like, you just can't crush them. Like, just kill them. But I think they kind of get it. I'm probably louder than I should be. I will admit that. Like, you know why you get loud? Here's what I figured out. Especially when, like, Kaylee pitches, you get loud. Because, like, last night, she had, like, an injured finger last night. So you're like, you know, you're already up against it. Or last year when she like wasn't throwing all her pitches, that's where it stresses it. It's already stressful enough. Mm-hmm. It's more stressful when you know, even if everybody else doesn't know, like she's not got everything right working. I bet your parents were a little bit like that, right? They knew if you were a little banged up or sick or whatever, Hamby, before you go out there, or coaches know, and not everybody else knows. And then you get a little more stressed out about it. And it's already, being a pitcher parent, we don't have that in baseball. But it's a lot more stressful, I think, than watching, like, tie play.
Brent, maybe a good topic on your podcast lady. What's it called again, Brent? Let them know.
No gate fees. 2 o'clock, and we're replaying it today, actually, at 2 o'clock.
What is the sport in terms of youth sports where parents get tossed the most? It's a legitimate question.
Yeah, I don't know what that answer would be.
You don't know?
What do you think?
Oh, I'm not sure if it's different down here, but hockey.
Oh, really?
Oh, because hockey, parents could drink.
Oh,
they sold alcohol.
There's a little something in that hot cocoa.
Oh, dude, you better do it. I mean, you want to talk about just a bunch of kindergartners and first graders on the ice? You know, you throw a hit right there and a parent doesn't like it, man. You mix some of those hot toddies together. Not a good combination, man. Parents getting tossed.
Heck of a week here. It's a lot of fun, by the way. 1 o'clock Cup Date coming up. A week with Action Sports Shacks at 1:30. No gate fees at 2 o'clock. We're replaying that show today here on a Friday. And we've got plenty of programming all weekend long on our Action Sports Shacks 24/7 network. Way to find it is actionnewsjacks.com or the Action News Jacks app. And it's as simple as that. We just had Foye Oluokun on, so you can go back and listen to that. The show will replay several times for the next 24 hours or so, and then we'll be back at it on Monday. 30 seconds to go in the show. Hope you have a fantastic Easter weekend. Enjoy the great weather. NCAA tournament, Major League Baseball. For Austen Lane, Jason Hamby, I'm Brent Martineau. Thanks for hanging with us from Strings Sports Brewery in Springfield. If you want to do something this weekend, come on out, drink a beer, have some food, shoot some hoops, watch some hoops. Have a good weekend, everybody.